Good evening, gamers of all ages, Magic players from across the country. It is Wednesday night, and it is time for Modern. I am not Eli, and this is not Ryan. We are Haviva and Dominic Stryker. Welcome to the booth again, Dom. How you been? How's your week going?
I'm doing great. Time to highlight number one.
Number one on
Yeah,
the leaderboard. We'll get that
we're gonna swap this
that
up real quick.
overlay quickly changed here. We also need to change the commentator names there, Bryce. Thank
It's
you
a busy,
much.
busy day in the neighborhood. Maybe you don't know, but The Murders at Karlov Manor is released. It's a busy day for an LGS. It's a busy day for the players too. We're gonna try to get some new cards out there, but the mainstays of Bolt You, Bolt You, Bolt You, tried and true for Adam.
Absolutely. He's working with just about his regular list. He's got a
Yeah.
couple of the new cards from Karlov Manor in his deck list. We'll get a peek at that during sideboards, which should happen pretty quickly here, one way or the other.
It sure seems that way, huh?
That's one thing that you can guarantee when you put Burn on the main features. You'll get to see two matches.
And a part of this, as you will see, is we're going to see up in the names here. These are the players' current ranks
Mhm.
on our local leaderboard, and we're trying out featuring the first player in the first round, the number one seed, maybe on the front, maybe on the back. We're going to figure out as the days go on, but we figured Adam would be here real quick as Brian is already down to 6 points of life.
Just 2 burn spells away, and I see 2 burn spells in
Yes.
Adam's hand. So not a lot of time here for Brian, but we'll see if he can manage to stay alive a little bit longer. He's going to suspend footballs. Don't know if that'll be too helpful, but maybe.
Oh, yeah, the hardest part was Adam's hand has a Searing Blaze and no creatures to target, but this Rift Bolt basically spells certain doom for next turn. Unless Brian has a force, maybe a Teferi here to make the Rift Bolt look bad.
I saw a subtlety, but Adam's not casting any creatures anytime
No,
soon.
Adam has not seen a 1 yet.
No, not yet. But he is number 1.
Well, this Jockland Brian may have spelled doom for themselves, putting themselves down to 4, dead to the Boros Charm in hand, and the Shardless gives a target for this Searing Blaze. So a full 1-2 punch of taking yourself out, but putting yourself in the best situation in case Adam's hand is all mountains.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't know what's in your opponent's hand until they play it. So play to your outs, I guess. Put some pressure on the board at least. Rhinos can kill you pretty quickly too, but not as quickly as Burn.
Right. If you want to keep up, I was talking with some of the Rhinos players out there, and they said, "Oh, what's our plan?" Because Adam is a stone cold killer out there on Burn. As we see us solituding our own creature out of Brian, doing what you got to do. And if you're Rhinos, your plan is to race. Use a subtlety or a force to just kind of fade for a moment and get in with these Rhinos. But we're ticking down here.
We've got a third land. That'll trigger the Searing Blaze.
So probably the best time to use this, get the Shardless off the table and deal 3 upstairs. Oh, and Brian has another copy of Solitude in hand and an Omnath.
If you Solitude the Shardless, then the spell will fizzle. So that'll save you some life.
Plus you'll gain 2.
Plus you'll gain some from the Solitude.
But Brian will have to lose the Omnath in his hand, which might be the best way to get back against this deck.
Does he have that 4th land? I can't tell. I thought I saw an Otawar, but it might be the Subtlety I was looking at earlier.
Oh, down to 2.
Just gonna let the Searing Blaze resolve here.
This is a dangerous spot if Adam has specifically Skullcrack, as I think we're now relying on this Solitude to keep us in the game. Not what Adam does have, but it's one of those situations you're trying to figure out what the outs are, how to put yourself in the best scenario. If I was Brian, I may have...
Oh, I don't know if I agree with that pass. I feel like Brian should have Solituded on his own turn, knowing that Adam only had access to 1 burn spell. Because if he goes to Solitude here, yeah, he could just burn him again in response.
And Brian even did draw an Eagles of the North. Shout out to the Plane Cycling card.
Ooh, you've loudly said that's the worst one in the cycle.
Yeah, it is. But
nothing wrong. You won't hurt its feelings. I can't hear you.
But Brian's mana, really situated on white mana, pitches to Solitude. And it looks like Adam's gonna put Brian in that squeeze here. But I was saying we drew the Eagles means we had the perfect card to pitch to Solitude. That wasn't our Omnath.
Right, yeah. The Omnath is what's going to bring us back into this game here as soon as we can draw that 4th land.
The problem is I see Adam in the tank here in response to this Solitude, and we Boros Charmed, I believe, an upkeep most likely to play around Force of Negation.
Mm-hmm.
Because Brian does not have double blue, so if that was a card that we had drawn, and I think Brian is subtletying our own Solitude? Is this what's happening? In response to the Boros charm? Oh yeah.
What does that achieve? Is he just showing that he has a Solitude? Because I don't see another card pitching the Solitude or Subtlety.
I'm so intrigued.
Are we?
And then it looks like we Solitude our own Rhino.
What is
Big hits coming in
happening?
here. Down to 4. Right, this is the Rhino plan. If you can race, you should try to race.
And
Spike
that's
upstairs. Sheesh, not quite sure in those final moments, but Burn was putting the squeeze on him anyways.
all right. That was a really close game. Regardless, Adam put the pressure on the whole game, but Brian very nearly got there. With that,
Yes.
with the subtlety or the Solitudes giving him some life gain, and then just the pressure from Rhinos. I
Yeah.
think it can really go toe to toe with the speed of Burn. Let's take a look at some deck lists though, as these players sideboard. This is Brian's full 75. He has submitted a deck list. Excuse me,
Oh.
76.
Yeah, and we've got a bullet for taking out Burn if you want to chalk through this sideboard right
Yes, let's take a look. Let's start at the bottom because that's the most fun one there.
Those are good too.
These ley lines of sanctity. Oh, were you looking at something else?
The tippy top's
Oh, the
real
top
good
one.
too.
There you go. Yeah, yeah. So I guess I'll start at the bottom because I said I would do that. Ley line of sanctity, curse totem, force of vigor, wear tear, mystical dispute, force of negation, and core firewalker.
This is the respect for Adam Weiss sideboard plan. 3 copies of Leyline of Sanctity. Great because if we get this in our opening hand, we get hexproof, incredible against Burn. But also we are a Solitude based deck. So if we draw these during the game, they are white cards. So these are most likely easier to pitch, easier to play out. Additionally, we have these 2 copies of Core Firewalker. What we're most likely going to do is take out some number, if not all of these Rhinos, bring in the Core Firewalkers, and cascade into those.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah, so this is the Beans style, right? Beans used to do this where you could take out the bean and put in like a complete hammer of a card, not literally hammer, right? And you can see in the board here, there's also these cursed totems. I think our Yogg plan is similar, right? We can bring in a different bullet to have our cascade package hit instead. So in this case, we get these ley lines, we get these Core Firewalkers, and I imagine depending on how big our deck is now and how small we want it to become, we can bring in these copies of Force just to answer burn spells using the cardboard we have.
Yeah, there's a lot of utility and sort of toolboxiness in this deck. It can really become what you need it to be. And I think Brian has built it really well here. Let's take a look at Adam's new deck list. He always plays Burn, but today we've got some new cards in it. Let's take a look at that bottom left-hand side.
There it is.
Case of the Crimson Pulse is a brand new card out of Murders of Karlov Manor. What does it do, Dom?
So when this enters the battlefield, you discard a card and draw 2. So at a minimum, it begins as a card for filtering. To solve it, which is a state that will happen on end steps, this one specifically wants you to have no cards in hand. If you've watched a Burn player, they throw their cards on the table, right? Their spells, their lands, their creatures, whatever, they get rid of them as fast as they can. Once you reach an end step, your end step, you've met that criteria, the card is then considered solved. From then on, the last ability is at the beginning of your upkeep, you discard your hand, draw 2. Then you go to your draw step. So it becomes a draw 3 every turn if you can move through the cards that you do have.
I was going to compare this to a Seasoned Pyromancer in that it refills your hand. I didn't catch, which you just explained, that the upkeep trigger happens every single time. It's not just like a single reward for solving.
You drop your hand and then draw up.
And then you get it every time.
So once you clear it and get to the solved condition, you don't get stuck with like the inability to use cards. You're going to filter through every single turn. So what this is basically once it's fully online, it is drawing 3 cards a turn for the Burn deck. Additionally, a lot of the burn spells are instant speed. So in response to its trigger, you can fire them off and then draw your fresh 3.
Okay.
It is a part of the late game staying power that is sometimes hard to find in the Burn deck.
Absolutely.
That Adam's trying to figure out ways to fix.
Yeah, Adam has put a ton of
Ton.
hours into Burn and really eking every single percentage point he can out of every matchup and the deck itself. And so we're seeing that process happen live today. We've got a couple of sideboard cards out. We've got an Engineered Explosives on 0 and a Roiling Vortex, 2 huge cards against token rhinos, and the spell that creates it itself, Crashing Footfalls, will be a 0 cost when it gets cast.
And we were joking about Adam's edition of the Case of the Crimson Pulse in our team Discord, and we called it Red Fable of the Mirror Breaker.
Oh, for sure.
Which
it kind of has the
Fable
same...
already is red, but it like feels like Fable is an everybody's card, and this feels like this might be Burn's way to like put a permanent into play and get supreme value off it, if you can meet that criteria of like getting your hand out and doing something with it. What's happening is Adam now has this much more like controlling sideboard plan happening right now, but that could play really well into them trying to get that case online, because that's a late game card anyways.
Absolutely. We'll see a sideboard card go over on Brian's flipping through for his Cascade. I saw a Wear Tear go by as we're
Saw another Leyline go by.
digging for this Footfalls here, or perhaps a sideboard card. We'll see.
Yeah, I think the Footfalls are gone, and there's the Core Firewalker.
There it is. Let's get that card up on the screen. I don't think we've ever had that on the stream.
This is
got
the
protection from red, I believe, is the biggest part of it.
But we cascaded and played that for free, so we took 5 damage to put this into play.
We did. We did.
It should pay dividends from here.
And then whenever a player casts a red spell, you may gain 1 life, so you can forget it.
They're going to say yes. They're going to say, I would love to do that.
Ryan will definitely say yes, but it is forgettable, so if you miss it, you do miss it.
Yeah, and this Core Fireworker, that's a cool dude. I have never actually looked at the art.
He's a rad guy.
When the art's really big, looks like so we can see it here, I'm like, oh, I've never actually looked at the art of this card.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes you just get like the vague sort of colors and shapes of a card. Start to crash in here on Brian's side, bringing life totals to 9 and 14. At upkeep, Adam will also be taking damage from this Roiling Vortex, so something to note there.
And I think we're paying right now to activate our Vortex. So Vortex activatability says an opponent can't gain life this turn. Adam is beginning the turn with that activation so that they can know and plan for the rest of their turn that Brian's not going to gain that life.
In response, Tidebinder
the trigger.
This is huge.
The activatability in this case.
Yes.
And
we
now
will activate it again in response. Tidebinder, specifically for enchantment, will not turn it off completely, so Adam does get that ability to activate again.
And you can see Adam took this Engineer Explosives and almost threw it off the table.
I noticed.
It's not going to matter. Adam and Brian are both fully aware that Rhinos are not currently in the deck list because, well, we just saw most of it, and we purposely hit this Firewalker.
A Bolt upstairs will bring Brian down to 6 here.
Oh, and Adam was doing all of that on Brian's end step. Now we're untapping full mana as well. It's always hard to catch the exact timing of when someone wants to do something.
Yeah, it's hard. We can't hear what they're talking, what they're saying.
And this Brian is on the beatdown because Adam is coming in, but Brian's trying to do the same.
Life total's even at 5 each here.
Oh, but Adam has in hand a Boros Charm, and the Vortex will deal 1 to Brian.
Oh.
So Adam most likely is going to try to hold up mana to activate the Vortex to make sure that Brian's not gaining life. Most likely hold up maybe a second use of it just in case in response, and try to eke out exactly 5 from what we have here.
Absolutely, yeah. You don't want this spell to get countered by any means because you are dead on the crackback. So you want to ensure you play it at the optimal time here.
Right, we're doing a dance because both players can have lethal on the other, and the flurry of spells in the next turn and a half basically determines the winner of this game.
Yeah, Adam flooding out a lot more than he did in game 1, which shows why this game might be a little closer here.
Right, the more lands Burn draws, the closer a game becomes. You can see.
I can't quite see Brian's hand here. He's got 4 mana, which could be an Omnath. It could be a 1 ring.
There is a ring. I think Brian is debating, is it worth a full tap out? And we have decided the answer is yes.
That gives us protection. In response to the cast, though.
Charm upstairs, activate Vortex so that you won't gain the life. This Vortex was specifically here to beat up on the cascading plan, while also now having this life gain way to stop life gain. So Brian's deck pivoted to have these core Firewalkers, but Adam's sideboard card was the same one and lined up exactly with the new plan and the old plan.
Interesting. I'm curious, how can we order, who gets to order the triggers in the upkeep? Because the protection, when does protection fall off? In the untap?
I believe it falls off at, it might be untapped, like the beginning of a turn when things are not able to be responded to.
Mm-hmm.
Or it may end the turn prior and it just doesn't exist when your turn begins.
Okay. I was curious because the vortex trigger happens in upkeep.
Mm-hmm.
So I was curious how we could potentially stack things there. In someone's turn here, we are Leyline Binding. I think in Brian's upkeep.
I believe we're responding to the take one trigger.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to try to Leyline Binding this away. Adam is using the you can't gain life. This screams Brian may be trying to self-solitude again before taking the 1 point of damage.
Let's draw a card and see what we get there. Oh no, but we take damage from the burden. Oh my gosh, so we can't even use that to dig.
Right, because you're the active player, so your ring trigger went on the stack and then the vortex. So the ring is waiting to see if there's any burden counters. Oh,
fire!
You're fired. Which I believe should trigger your own Firewalker.
Yeah, so we're just gonna cast fire to gain the life. We're gonna reactivate Roiling Vortex so you can't gain the life. Then we will
draw
dig.
the ring.
It's a Tide Binder. Don't have the mana to cast that. Doesn't pitch to a Solitude. We have another core Firewalker in hand too. Oh, that would have been huge.
That's probably why the Cascade took so long. The other one must have been in hand.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at
cleaning up the board state here.
I think this is a concession hand reveal.
I believe it is as well.
Brian tried to play really tight and really sneaky. I think just didn't have a Solitude in those top 15.
Yeah.
Did everything they could. Just drew a Leyline there.
Off the top, yeah.
Yeah, I think we had the tools to fire back in this matchup. Adam's sideboard card lined up perfectly to fight either plan Brian was on. Played slowly, used their sideboard cards, used their mana every turn, and they may have flooded, but they did exactly down to 0.
Yeah, valiant fight, I would say.
Fight
on both sides here. Great games of Magic. Let's head into our backup match, though.
And who could it be?
We got a couple, respectfully, we got a couple of Magic boomers on the screen right now.
Okay.
We got Rich and David playing it out. We got Panza versus Rakdos mid-range. I see a Waste Knot, a Blood Moon, a Fable token on David's side of the screen. I see a bunch of lands on Rich's side. Ooh, that is a beautiful Bloodbraid Elf. Flip over and grab a Utopia Sprawl off the Cascade trigger. David took down game 1. He's now sitting at 8 points of life. And we're going to try and see what the other spells are. David has a One Ring and a Fable. And then there's a card on the far right we're going to try and get into, or out of the spotlight, rather.
Right. Looks like we've got one bad spot over there, so we'll fix that real quick. Unfortunately, that's where David chose for everything to go. I think it might be an explosives, but I think we're going to get that cleared up real quick here.
Yeah, maybe if we just turn off the light. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. We're getting all moved into this beautiful zone. Oh, yeah. There's that Waste Knot. There's that Blood Moon. A Ring on 1, a Fable on the first chapter, and an Engineered Explosives on 1 as well.
There we go.
These are all the tools David's working with right now.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, producer.
And that the Bloodbraid here hit the Utopia Sprawl, and the Utopia Sprawl went on this forest.
Resolving chapter 2 of Fable now.
And I believe this Fable tokens are putting in a lot of work because this ring looks like it was cast using one of these treasures. We're starting to bank up a few more. And we have this EE on 1 for whatever problems Richard could pose. But speaking of problems.
Here comes a Shouldered the Apocalypse. Now, this Fable seems like a huge card against a Panza deck. The token generation seems super, super helpful here.
We have this Burning Inquiry. remember there is this blood moon in play right now, so this tapped Bloodstained Mire that's being tapped as a mountain for the moon. I didn't say anything. I silently looked around the board and went, I found the blood moon, and then I alerted everyone else to join me.
All right, Burning Inquiry, a very fun card here. Add a bit of randomness to your Magic game. Each player draws 3 and discards 3.
Oh, yeah. Munvali Acid Moss, a Utopia Sprawl, and a Pillage being discarded for Richard.
With the Shouldered on the field as well, Rich will take 6 points of damage here.
And then because 3 spells were discarded, David's going to draw 3 more with their Shieldred in play because of their Waste Knot. And now they have a Ring ready to also draw cards with the Shieldred in play.
Oh, is he going to remember the Waste Knot trigger?
He did. He just drew those 3.
Wonderful. Did he get the life gain too? I think he just got the life gain from the Inquiry, maybe? There's a lot of triggers to remember here.
We got it here, right? Because we drew 2 off this ring and we gained the 4 17.
Great. We're doing good stuff here.
And in David drawing all those cards, David also found a basic swamp, allowing them to unlock themselves from their own Blood Moon because they were locked and relying on treasures up until now.
This is a very different deck from what David first started with. He was a classic, even before it got really hot, Rakdos scam player, and did really well with it, was studying the Bible. I think Young Dingo's
oh, you mean
guide.
that one.
Studying the scam Bible, excuse me.
As
and putting a lot of work there, and now transitioned into this Waste Knot build of Rakdos. Has been really jamming with it and enjoying it.
David wanted to have more fun and not be the enemy, so they shifted to they're like, I still want to use my Blood Crypts and all these cards that I have. Then they found Burning Inquiry, they found Waste Knot, they found Ring Shieldred. And they've been on this for a while. I think even before the Fury ban.
I know, we've talked about it before. David is the nicest scam player.
The nicest scam player over me.
Nicest scam player over me. You would not put this man on scam if you sat down across from him.
The nicest man to have a Blood Crypt in their deck.
Yeah, so
and
now
this Graven Cairn's one of a heavy metal art that is.
Yeah, totally.
And on Richard's side, if you're not aware of this acidic slime, 5-mana 2/2 Death Touch, ETB, destroy, basically a non-creature permanent. I think it's before Planeswalker times.
I think it's enchantment.
Artifact land.
Artifact land. That sounds right to me, yeah.
So what they did is they blew up David's only swamp, trying to also lock David under their own Blood Moon.
We'll get a dashed Ragavan here, I think.
Yes, because we're paying the 2 for it, because I think that might be hopefully another treasure source for us to try to get our mana unlocked.
Totally. We'll activate a ring here too, gain some life there. Tons of cards in our hand, lots of different things we can do. Move to combat.
Big swing here, and I think this is because Richard is at 6, so we know that in Richard's draw step, they're going to lose 2 to the onboard Shieldred, and there's only 2 blockers here. So we're forced to throw something in front of this Shieldred, and this Ragavan applies 1 additional piece of pressure to just push through 2 points of damage.
And
this Bowmaster will
step
push
or before damage step.
This Terminate is going to kill off this so that it doesn't kill our Shieldred. Death Touch on Death Touch.
Interesting. I feel like maybe we should have terminated before combat. Yeah.
Because then we would have exactly lethal. We would have dealt 4 from our 2/2 creatures. And then they would have died in draw step to the remaining 2 from the Shieldred.
I think David also has another Shieldred in hand as well, so you could have just thrown the Shieldred under the Death Touch bus and replayed it.
Yeah, and then still had yourself on the guaranteed lethal.
There's a Bowmaster point of damage.
And now we need to find 1 point of damage.
Can we make another Bowmaster? Do we have another mana? We could.
Looks like where all those are gone. Richard's firing off their own bolt at
the reflection.
Flip fail. Yeah, the reflection of Kiki Jiki. Richard down to exactly 1. This better be the best Blood Braid we've ever seen.
Oh boy, Cascade Trigger.
Oh, we get the perfect time for Arbor Elf to show up. And looks like that's the game. 2-0 for David on this big Rakdos Burning Inquiry, Waste Not Shieldred ring. I mean, I was going to say pile, but it's working, right? It's not a pile. This is a well-built machine. So congrats to David and their Rube Goldberg Rakdos machine, taking it down 2-0.
I like the name Big Rakdos, too. It
I
felt very big there. It had a lot of stuff going on. David had all the time in the world to do whatever he wanted, tons of spells to cast. Burning Inquiry is just a fantastic
Yeah.
card too. I love
Or
that
like
thing.
Burning Rakdos.
Burning Rakdos for sure. Yeah, lots of good names we could come
Burning
up
Waste.
with for this. Ooh, Burning Waste is good. I dig that.
Okay. Oh, we'll tank on this. We'll ask David.
Yeah, we'll think about it in the break. Before we head into our break, though, let's take a look at our weekly schedule here. We offer 5 different games at our store to play with, at least sanctioned events, right? You can play any game you want at our store. But here's our scheduled events for the week. Tonight, of course, is Modern. Tomorrow will be Commander and Pokemon. If you're interested in Pokemon, we will be streaming that as well. Friday is F&M Legacy and Standard, and then also One Piece. Saturday is our Digimon League. Back on Monday is another day of Digimon and Commander. And then Tuesday wraps up our schedule with Pioneer being replaced by Lorcana and our One Piece League. Just announcing for the first time here on the stream. I don't know where else we've posted this, but we will be hosting a Lorcana 1K at our very first series event of the year. So if you enjoy Magic and Lorcana, you'll be able to double dip and enjoy both of those games in Elmhurst for that event, February 17th and 18th. With that being said, though, that'll wrap up round 1 coverage. We'll be right back with round 2.
See y'all soon.
Welcome back, everybody. We got a good one for you. We're in round 2 of Wednesday Night Modern League. We got David and Sam, a couple of regulars rocking their regular decks. David sometimes play.
Yeah, David's a Steve Vents gamer. I always talk about these sorts of folks. David's a Steve Vents gamer, and today we're playing. Oh, I think we're playing 4-color Rhinos. Look at that Sacred Foundry.
Yes, he did submit his deck list, so we'll be able to get a peek at it in between sideboards here.
Okay.
And then Sam, of course, playing Hammer.
So I love the decision to. So the difference between 4-color Rhino and 3-color is you get access to Binding into Fairy and Wear Tear, but your mana gets a little more difficult,
right?
And you are no longer a Blood Moon deck, and you're susceptible to other Blood Moon decks. But your mid-range planning gets a lot better.
Interesting. Okay, well, we don't have to worry about Blood Moon here.
Right. But that's what worries me about David's deck is when Rhinos is very, very popular and Murktide is popular, 2 good Blood Moon decks are going to give you trouble as you slightly diluted yours to get a better mid-range deck.
Absolutely.
And David was a fan of 4-color Omnath, which this deck's going to play a lot more like.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw Fury get banned, which hurt more than just the Scam deck. It also hurt that 4-color Elementals deck as well.
Hurt Rhinos.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, got hurt all the way up to the top, right?
Yeah, Hammer largely unchanged, though they are getting a new Springleaf drum in the upcoming RCQ season.
I literally sent the photo of it to Sam, and Sam went, I have this OG foil, and I went, so you won't need yours from the RCQs? Oh, because the new ones are gorgeous.
They're so nice. All the arts are really good, actually. I love them all. I'm excited to play in that RCQ season.
Yeah, I'm going to play that Goblin Guide, the cutest little goblin that ever did guide.
Yes, let's talk about the game at hand, though. We see an Esper Sentinel potentially getting fired here.
Or it seemed like we might have been responding, I think, to try to play a spell out before the Esper Sentinel. Sam fires back with Surge, I think, to either save themselves or save their Sentinel. But either way, quote-unquote, countering this Fire Ice.
Playing a Surge of Salvation there. I'll give his stuff Hexproof. See the classic Cascade spell and Charlotte's Agent come down. We'll see what we hit here.
And
could be anything.
It's going to be Rhinos. But the part that I am more concerned about is Sam's hand is Saga Plains another Surge.
Ooh. Okay, so we got some good draws.
Right. We're on the Saga plan.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is not always a bad plan.
No, not a bad plan. Oh, and David is also playing Solitudes and the Rings. Is David playing Tepper's Big Rhinos?
Oh, do you think they switch maybe?
This sure feels like Big Rhinos to me.
Let me take a early peek here at this. Oh, what is his Discord name?
Yeah, everyone's got different names on the internet. That's the correct choice, though.
There it is.
And I wonder if Sam didn't fully know that David's on a like Rhinos Brew variant style and kept this thinking they were playing either like Murktide or 4-color, which a double Saga hand is like great against those. They just have trouble beating a pile of constructs. Here's the beautiful Giver of Runes.
The gift wrap Secret Layer. Very nice there. These constructs are going to come down 1, 2, 3, 4 drops. So they will go toe to toe with these.
They'll become 5 off the Saga Search, and then 6s off the second. So these will be 6/6s by the time we're rumbling.
For sure, for sure. But in time for this block, it will be a 4/4.
Exactly 4. Yes, yes, yes. Which would then allow, if we want, to trade a single activation of our land for half. Nope, sorry, a third of this overall cascade.
Sometimes a half, this time a third, depending on how you resolve a Crashing Footfalls. We'll crash in with just the rhinos.
And David, very interestingly, searched up a plains when they played this shardless and has force in hand, but can't hard cast it because we don't have double blue yet.
Oh, okay.
But also, I think that's a part of, playing a 5-color mana base. It's much harder to frequently have access to double blue as opposed to when you're a teamer 3-color mana base.
Sam will opt to create a construct token here and go to blocks. 4 damage though, David. Thinking on a response here, remembering that Esper Sentinel.
And what's very fun about the rhinos having trample, quote unquote fun, is if you're interested, you can still remove this as a blocker, leyline binding it, wear tear it, destroy it in some way. And because your creature has trample, it'll still then get to deal its 4 damage to Sam's face.
Oh, right, yes.
Because now it just sees 0 of it being blocked, it tramples over for 4.
And we'll see that happen here. Trample over.
Yeah, we took the trade there and then just took 4 from the second
Oh,
rhino.
excuse me. Okay.
And I think David's fine with it because it seems like we got this follow-up shardless to just make 2 more of these rhinos. Yeah, I'm seeing Omnath Tidebinders. Yet David is playing 4-color like Omnath 4-color, but with the Rhino Cascade. This is, again, just basically the Beans deck. Took out the beans and put rhinos in.
Yeah, I'm looking at the list here. It's got all...
This is a Beans deck. This is so wild.
It's got all the trappings of one for sure. Oh. Tiebinder, of course, my favorite inclusion since we've seen the list.
But not a full 8 Cascade cards. So we'll see this when we're looking at the list and for sideboarding. But David only has 2 outbursts, so we're playing 6 total Cascade cards, but a lot more of the mid-range with cards like Teferi, cards like Solitude, Omnath, The Ring. So a much bigger package, but a fast clock in the form of the 4/4s.
Sort of playing the line in between like a quote-unquote aggro deck that the Rhinos deck can be, and then, more mid-range value.
I kind of love it.
Yeah, I think this definitely seems like a deck.
This kind of rules.
It's definitely up your alley here. Lots of fun toys for sure.
We still have a Sage in our mana for being bad against.
On Sam's turn here, Chapter 3 of the Urza Saga resolved, and he grabbed a second Springleaf.
So desperate for mana to get all our cards out here. Looks like we've drawn Shadow Spear in the meantime as well.
Oh, okay. So that's why we didn't grab the Shadow Spear. Usually that's the play there.
Right. When we're on the big construct plan, the plan is to give them lifelink.
But we had a Ginger Brute too, so we
couldn't get the bullet creature. We have an Ornithopter. We don't need a second Ornithopter.
So maybe Springleaf was the only thing he could grab. I don't think he runs Pithy Needle in the main.
Wow, you might be correct that we drew 2 of the more bullety cards and just had. Oh, but we could have gone.
We could have gotten a hammer.
Hammer. Yeah, I was like, wait up. There's got to be something.
You never grab hammer off almost never grab hammer off the saga.
Unless you already have an aid or have a pure steel, right? There's a lot of weird yes/no path choices for the deck, but it doesn't matter when there's 3 rhinos just rumbling at you.
Rumble. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7/7 construct blocking one of these rhinos.
And looks like David only brought 2 total rhino tokens with him, but we have 3 rhinos currently in play. This die representing 2 rhinos, not 2 counters. Let us go.
Let's go. Welcome in chat. Hello, everyone in chat. If you're enjoying the content, don't forget to follow and say hi. We appreciate everyone chiming in and letting us know that you're there, so we don't feel too much like we're talking to ourselves in the back room here.
I mean, we are, but also love chatting to all y'all out there as well.
We're speaking to everyone in the chat.
Yeah.
They don't always speak back.
I have to be really honest. I think when I do this, I feel like I'm talking to the player.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm just looking at David, telling him what's up, right?
Hi Brendan, how you doing? Miss you. Come play. I'm missing Standard this Friday. I'm so sorry, and I'm taking Bryce with me too. But I think some of the Commander players are building Standard decks, so you should have some people to play with.
Much appreciated there. As we have 1 single card left in our Hammer player's hand, But what we do have is this massive construct from the turn before, and now it's got a big spear. Oh, a leyline binding.
Oh, that's no fun.
Tag the construct or the spear? Looks like we're worried about the spear.
Kind
And
of want
our
to grab the spear, yeah. Ooh, couple of spells.
so ready.
Surge and then force negation fast as lightning.
And I will say, we saw that David couldn't hardcast this force on turn 3. On 4 and 5, we made 2 more blue land drops. So either seeing our hand or what we had available to us, we're heavy blue in the mana. Just that exact moment wasn't force hardcastable. But here on turn 5, we surely and easily could.
Surely, and we have another leyline in hand as well. That's very troublesome for Sam, but he's got this saga that's about to go and grab. I guess you can grab a hammer. You could grab a third spring leaf. That's it for main board stuff because we can't grab Esper Sentinel. We could grab an Ornithopter, I guess. Yeah.
I think the hammer might just make our top deck paladins better.
Maybe.
Just have one floating around.
1, 2. We lose the saga. 3, 4, 5 mana. If we grab a spring leaf, that's 6 mana.
Are you trying to do the math on if we can cast the angels?
Yeah, or equip a hammer.
Oh, I guess that. Yeah, for the big cost was 8 all for the big cost? Okay.
You don't see it often, but it could happen. I don't think David's going to let Sam get that far, though. We're at 6 life here on Sam's side to David's 14.
I bet Sam would take 2 angels right now if they could.
I would take 2 angels. I could always take 2 angels.
I could always take... for lunch, 2 angels.
Yes.
Here at Modern Night, 2 angels.
Heck yeah.
David's hand looks like Hollowed Fountain and a Binding. So we kind of have one answer to things that Sam has, but luckily still 2 rhinos.
Right, yeah. 2 rhinos and 2 shardless agents as well, which shouldn't be counted out.
No, because if we can attack, we can chump block a rhino. There's still another 4/4 and 2 2/2s. Our opponent's at 6. We don't have to push for that much.
We do have more blockers, though.
Yeah, we got these little guys.
Yeah.
All of our blockers together could absorb a rhino, but not even fight back against it.
Right.
And the giver could give something protection.
And giver also, not relevant here, but can also give protection from colorless things, which is sometimes relevant, like in the mirror, for example.
We might not risk the giver because currently David has all green creatures, and this giver might be our out if we're trying to like sneak through a hammer play because our giver currently has the ability to get through all of these creatures.
Right.
Unknown to the binding in hand, but if we're thinking aggressively, this giver might be the only route to the current board state.
It's something that I have to think about when I play my standard deck with Skrelv.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can give them blockable by 1 color, but if your opponent is like a 2 or 3 color deck and they have multiple colors of creatures, it can get a little tricky there. But yeah.
Oh, big taps. Oh, using both the little guys for both the drums to bring in another massive construct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 sixes these are. And then block both the rhinos. See, what David can do now here, we're going to steal this game. Yeah, use this giver. But what's going to happen is this leyline binding can remove a construct. A rhino will fully trample, and they're going to take exactly 6 in this combat.
Ooh.
It's the exact weirdness of the fact that these rhinos have trample. That if the blocker is removed, it can then deal its full damage to the dome.
But David just lets everything go.
We let it go.
All right. 1 shardless gets through for a couple points of damage.
And now Sam's gets to use this saga. They have their 1 card they drew, returns a little extra info for themselves. I think they want the card they draw to be a paladin, but it might not matter because of this binding. Wait, are these constructs big enough to just kill David? So they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're gonna be 8 8s. That's lethal without we don't know about this binding. But if we drew a surge, we can get in there. We can
if we drew the perfect card, we've got that.
If we drew surge, oh no, wait. Oh no, our giver's gone. Because the giver could have protected us from the binding, but the giver died in the last blockings and combats.
It was just blocking.
Okay, so if we drew a surge, a blacksmith skill, or
I guess David just let it go through because the giver was online. And just didn't want to throw away the binding.
Yeah, that's smart. That's a smart play, right? Make sure that your card's going to actually do what you want it to do.
And because of that play, now he's going to survive. Though Sam's only swinging with one. Oh, goodness.
That means we're on blocking duty, which means the card in hand, I'm guessing, is not answer to removal. And I think David
What is
also
he
may have skipped
scared
their
of,
land drop.
though? I guess a violent outburst?
Yeah, I mean, 2 rhinos is definitely bad news. A thing I didn't notice is I think David held their land back for last turn to just bluff having 2 actions in hand.
Sure.
Wow, and we drew Outburst now.
Oh, boy. That's a good card.
That's 2 rhinos. And not inconsequential here, it's additional power on the blocking making these exchanges that Sam may not be able to fully account for.
The Charlotte is a
Inky.
2-2?
Charlotte is a 2/2 at base, yeah. An important part, Outburst buffs power, not toughness. So we'll deal more, but we're absorbing the same amount.
Right. None of Sam's creatures have trample, though, because there's no Shadow Spear. Just swinging with one construct.
And this is a 7/7, so these rhinos will be able to eat it and only trade for a single rhino.
Oh, you could animate the Ink Moth, and then it gets both.
Oh, ooh, okay, I see you.
Playing the new Special Guests Crashing Footfall, very pretty.
Big fan. I have 3 of those, not 4, and it's irking me so far.
I bet it does. I got some packs out front you could rip.
Oh,
Be fun.
be fun, be fun.
Bryce will pack for you.
Okay.
Move to blocks here.
And we block with the Shardless that we've had sitting around.
Maybe we're just hoping to go wide. We can't quite. Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
Now this is
How does it feel to have everything?
Now this is just 2 more rhinos. But Sam might be on the Ink Moth plan right now.
Keeps ripping rhinos, dude.
He can't get away with it. He just keeps ripping rhinos.
How does he do it?
And the Shadow Spear is under a binding. I don't think we have a way to release our card from a binding main deck. We do still have Cauldron in our deck. Could we suit up and do a big hit? We found 0 hammers so far this game for a deck called Hammer.
I know. We've seen literally 0.
But I think this is one of the games that really tests Hammer players. The, like, just playing a mid-range mopey plan, how good are you at accessing that plan? And this hand, I think, was a 2 Saga keep as opposed to, like, a get 'em dead Hammer hand.
Totally.
So Sam was ready to play this kind of game. Maybe not prepared for David to play an even bigger version of this game.
Okay, we have wide boards on both sides of the field here.
That's
4 rhinos and a shardless for David.
Big taps.
2
These angels?
constructs.
Oh, it's Cauldron Hardcast.
Hardcast Cauldron. Mark it off your bingo card.
And Cauldron's a 5/5, right?
Yes.
Blocks Rhino.
Yes, it do.
Oh, but we have 4 blockers.
It's got haste too if we wanted to do that, but that's a wide board.
Oh no, we're dead. So there's 4 rhinos coming in. So we block with a construct, and Cauldron, and we have a 4th rhino to deal with. If we block that with Ginger Brute, we get 2 trample, or 3 trample, and 2 from the Shardless. That's 5 damage.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna see.
Oh wait.
Math.
This does not have lifelink, right? I always forget all the
No,
abilities
it does
on
not have
Cauldron.
lifelink. No, just the Shadow Spear.
Players did the math there, saw that exact same writing on the wall. Sam just drew too many lands versus spells that do something, and David just drew rhino after rhino after rhino. It's like the old Siege Rhino days.
Yeah, even drawing the Cauldron there wasn't able to get him out of it. David's board just a little too wide, though, so game 1 will go to David. And let's take a look at Sam's list first. So here's his full submitted deck list. Hopefully it's up to date. I've got some new cards in it. We'll take a look at his sideboard here. Drannith Magistrate, Solitude, Blacksmith Skill, Helping Hand, Pithy Needle, and Cursed Totem, of course.
So the Drannith Magistrates, these are our Cascade Plan sideboard tools, right? So these are very likely to come in alongside possibly these Blacksmith Skills to supplement our Surge collection if we're worried about Leyline Binding, Solitude, and any other sideboard like Wear Tear style cards, just trying to keep our cards protected while we're trying to kill. Because I don't know. We tried to play a long game there, and it seemed like it did not go well for us.
Blacksmith skill also has the added text of buffing our creatures a little
Oh.
bit if they're artifact creatures. So we were really close to having like good stats against these rhinos. So
Oh.
maybe blacksmith skill can get us over the hump a little bit there, in
Mm-hmm.
addition to providing just the additional surge effects that we needed.
Because I always forget, I'm like looking at just these kind of two play sets of artifact creatures, but the constructs count as well. So
Yes,
they'll
they
just being
do.
huge, indestructible +2/+2 can really change up the math.
It could also be life gain if it's paired with a shadow spear. Lots of good stuff. Blacksmith skill was in this deck for a reason for a long time. It got replaced uh,
Yeah, because
with
Surge protects
Surge.
you as well now.
Correct. Yes, Surge has that extra bit of text, which is super relevant. Let's take a look at David's deck list as well. He has submitted 2. Thank you very much, sir.
4-color Rhinos.
4-color Rhinos, 76 cards here. Let's look at that sideboard. We have Endurance, Teferi Time Raveler, Weather the Storm, Mystical Dispute, Wear Tear, Force of Vigor, Supreme Verdict, and of course, Curse Totem.
Sorry, Weather the Storm. Now
Yeah, what's that? Is that a storm card?
It is. So we saw Tepper and their big rhinos had a Core Firewalker, right, as a juke sideboard when you want to cascade into something else. Weather the Storm is Storm, gain 3 life. So that means if you cascade into it, it sees that you've cast a spell, and that's 3 mana, gain 6.
Okay.
So when you're playing in the burn meta, that might be all you need, right? Gaining 6 essentially counters 2 spells, and then your forces and Teferis and everything else can kind of try to do the rest.
Interesting.
In this scenario, I most likely feel like a card like Supreme Verdict may help if the board gets gummed up, right? I've been talking with some friends who are possibly playing 4-color for some, I don't know, a really important modern event coming up pretty soon.
Whatever could it be, and which square-shaped state is it in?
And a part of the thought with Supreme Verdict is if you feel like you need to cast it, you're really glad you have it. And you feel like you don't need to cast it, you're really glad that you don't need to cast it, right? Like it has that feel because you're in control of it. That might be the way it plays out here. Force of Vigor and Wear Tear, those have destroy all of these cards written all over it. And sometimes I do and don't like Endurance on like player draws sometimes against this deck because just having a creature with reach might just keep you alive in just surprise scenarios.
Absolutely. There was an Ink Moth lurking around there in the game 1, and that can lead to a very quick kill.
The Ink Moth kills are sometimes one that can really sneak up on someone.
Absolutely. We are up a game, though, so maybe we just go for some standard sideboarding.
I love that feeling, right? It's like, I'm up a game. If I lose this one, maybe I'll try the thing. But that can work both ways, right? Like, oh, this is game 2. Let me try the odd sideboard card. If I really don't like it, I have time in game 3 to fix that problem. So the thought goes both ways.
Absolutely. Sam will be on the play here for game 2. He'll start with just a Springleaf Drum. No 0-cost creature there to enable it yet.
But we had to bolt ourselves for this flipped land in order to play it. But there's the turn 2 Draenith Magistrate. No subtlety from David to answer it. It just sticks.
We have a couple of different ways to deal with it on David's side.
Is the Draenith a 1/3?
I was literally about to check. I was like, can it get fired?
You're fine. I believe it's a 1/3. It's like a perfect sideboard card against all these Fire Ice decks.
Wait, no, I did have the right one pulled up. It is a 1/3.
So David's answers are Teferi bounce it, Leyline binding it.
Ooh. We'll play a Forge Anew out on Sam. In response,
Manatide! Manatide!
Yo, that's hot.
Wii U, Manatide.
Okay, that was not in your updated deck list, Sam. Excuse me, sir. Surprise.
I believe Sam said that he wasn't feeling the helping hands I recommended and was going back to Manatide. So if you're looking to pick up Hammer, those might have been the swaps that they had made.
I see.
As we see, I said before to David, right, the mana felt weird last game, but after they Force of Vigored and double got Sam, we're just playing all islands over here.
And we'll play out a 1 ring.
And this is the appeal of playing these like big Rhinos decks. If people bring in Rhinos hate, you have the whole rest of your deck with Omnath, the 1 ring, Tidebinder, Solitudes. Like, you have a whole deck that isn't that package. And David's only had the 6 Cascade cards to begin with, pitched one away to this Force, so they're showing it's not even that important to them playing a like ratcheted up game here.
It's like when Adam moved his EE over to the side of the board
doesn't matter.
when he saw Tepper cascade into the Firewalker. He's like, oh, I see.
Yes. Like Sam might be more likely to put a weapon on this Draenith than to protect it.
Yeah, that's a nice thing about this sideboard card is that it also holds a hammer.
Right. If you can hold a hammer, you can be in the sideboard.
Absolutely. Come join the party. Got 6 lands on Sam's side of the field and
Not
just
great.
the single creature.
Yeah. So
Little flooded out here. This Urza Saga just coming
Yeah.
down now. Would have liked to see that as maybe a turn 3 or 4 land drop.
So we had Springleaf, Draenith, Forge Anew, Mana Tithe, and lands. I mean, that's a hand for sure.
Absolutely.
It just seems like all these top decks may have just been land.
Absolutely. Ooh, wear and
Oh,
tear.
it's so good against Urza Saga. It's so good against Urza Saga.
That is heartbreaking.
One of the few cards that can 1-for-1 with an Urza Saga. The only other one I have found is Dramoka's Command, and we're far from playing that card.
What does that card do?
The modes you want are fight and opponent sacks an enchantment. So you can fight their construct to make them sack their saga. And that is so far from wear tear.
Yeah, a little less playable there.
As David hits second ring, so restarts their ring on 3 and just gets to not lose all that life and start drawing once again.
We're down to 12 combined burden, triggers, and land.
But our hand is Omnath, Fetchland, Solitude, Tidebinder, Beseiju.
A lot of gas. Here comes a borderless Colossus Hammer.
Beautiful.
Just a hard cast hammer.
The artist for Hammer will be at MC Chicago.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, yup, it is.
I got a lot of things to get signed at MC Chicago. I'm very excited.
David here draws a ring. I think they might, or not a ring, a Rhinos. Might have so much mana after this Omnath does its thing that we might be able to just put that on suspend and have an army for later. We can answer the Draenith in the next 4 turns. We're ancestral recalling every turn.
Yeah, Sam has not really put very much pressure at all on David. As the aggro deck, I feel like that's the role he should be playing and just didn't have the card draw to support it. He does have a hammer and an ink moth at any time. That could be a worrisome thing.
Pure Steel could be a big problem suddenly. Forge Anew could be a big problem.
Pure Steel, we still need another artifact at minimum, and we are fully hellbent, so that's 2 draws we need.
All right, Forge Anew it is.
Forge Anew.
Because Forge lets you equip for free.
Right.
At instant speed.
That is the single card draw that we would need.
We know what we're after. And it's not draw and pass.
No, it's not. I can't quite see what it is. I think it was a white card, but that's not too much information.
Right, in this mono white hammer deck. And now, the thing with these big giant elementals is they fight back fast.
Oh, yeah.
You want to talk about like turning the clock from trying to survive to trying to win? It works when you have 4/4s and 3/2 lifelinkers.
That was a big life total swing there,
and it was
that
just a surge left in hand with another land off the top, and Sam has fully seen enough.
All right, David will take down a pretty quick 2-0 there. In a non-traditional Rhinos list, he will advance to 2-0, and Sam will fall to 1-1. Great showings by both of our players there. Let's head into our backup match.
I'm so excited. On our left side, we have John playing Assault Loam. Welcome back. If you've been paying attention to Magic Online or Magic Twitter, this is the current spice, the current flavor are these Loam Assault decks, and Ray on this Grixis Wizards plus just good cards that we've been on for a couple of weeks here.
So is Loam
Life from the Loam?
Life from the Loam? Okay, it is.
And Assault is Seismic Assault. So Seismic Assault is a triple red enchantment. Says you can discard a land to deal 2 damage anywhere. Life from the Loam lets you pick up 3 lands from your graveyard. You rinse and repeat and just churn through that machine until your opponent is dead.
Interesting. Okay. All right. I'm curious to see how it plays out here. We've got a Bowmaster Orc Army token and a Delighted Halfling on John's side of the board, and Ray's rocking a Snapcaster Mage.
Oh, and John here specifically playing the Jund version as we see a Magus of the Moon coming into play here, possibly eating this counterspell.
Oh, yeah.
But John is playing the version, so the deck is base green-red, right? Your Assault and your Loam, green-red, that's the base. What people are trying to figure out is what colors to pair with it, what strategy to go with it. John is on the Jund plan, right? So we have cards like Molten Collapse, Terminate, Orcish Bowmaster, Shieldred, Ring, right? We're just trying to like Jund them out and have actual inevitability with cards like Shieldred and your Seismic Assault. There are a couple other variants. We have cards like Inti in this deck as well.
Oh, interesting.
When you have your Seismic Assault and you discard to deal 2, you trigger Inti and quasi-draw card, right? You get that Impulse Exile off Inti's ability. So Inti plus your Seismic Assault can actually, like, quote-unquote, draw through some cards for you as you exile them with Inti and can play them this turn.
Interesting. Okay.
So as you're loaming and throwing cards, you're also exiling spells that you can cast with your Inti.
That is super cool.
There's kind of 3 variants on this loam deck right now if you're like, ooh, this is really my speed. There's this Jund version that's kind of like classic Jund style of like being the inevitability in a game. There's a teamer version that is the green-red splash, the Gurk, slow Gurk, which has been taking over the standard format.
Yep.
It's starting to leak into Pioneer.
Oh,
and this
boy.
Assault deck is allowing it to sneak into Modern as well.
No, I refuse to learn what this card does.
Slow Gurk is incredible. And the third variant on this Assault Loam strategy is Indomitable Creativity.
Oh,
A deck
boy.
that
Your
already
old
wants-
bread and butter.
It already wants all red. It already wants all mountains. So as Ray's over here doing the wizard thing, getting Flame of Anor double value because they have a Snapcaster, killing off this Inti because you have to, and drawing 2 cards.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is Ray's deck wants to be the inevitable one, right? They want to be like, at the end of the game, I have all these cards, I have all this control, and you're dead. But John has the same plan. I also want to be the inevitable one at the end of the game as we channel a Takanuma and trigger our Inti. This is the standard engine.
This is really interesting. Yeah, I've been learning what Inti does, having like jamming and testing standard stuff right now for
With
the
like
VML.
the 4-color Legends deck happening.
Yeah, or just like a Rakdos.
Oh, yeah.
Rakdos plays it as well, which I'm playing against this Saturday, and I'm very scared. It's not a great matchup for me, so I've been practicing a lot. Inti is a very scary card. It doesn't seem like it does like a ton on first read. There's a lot of text to sort of parse there.
And it looks like they lose value, right? It looks like they're losing cards to do it, but finding ways like the channel lands, Seismic Assault, ways that the discarding is like a cost you're paying, allows you to like use it proactively and aggressively and actually be up cards instead of down cards when you do it.
Yeah, we saw that happen right here in response to the Inti dying. John channeled a Takanuma first and was able to grab some value off that card before it went to the graveyard.
Everyone, your eyes do not deceive you. If you look in Ray's hand, there is a checklist card for Nicol Bolas, comma, the Ravager, the 4-mana creature Nicol Bolas. And they're not playing 1, they're playing 2.
Yeah,
Right,
Bryce plays this card as a commander.
That's a cool commander.
Yeah, no, it's so bad.
It's
he calls
powerful.
He calls it his villain deck. It's just like so BM.
That's very. I mean, well, Ray's deck is Shieldred. Ray's deck is Nicol Bolas.
That's a villain deck if I've
Ray's
ever
deck
heard
is
one.
Tishana's Tidebinder.
No, she's
Ragavan, Snapcaster Mage. It sounds like all the villains.
Snapcaster's a hero.
Yeah, now
He's a
the
hero.
card's wrapped around so far that it's now back to hero status when it used to be like the tried and true villain.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, I would say strap in, folks. The life total is maybe 17 to 10, and there might not be a lot in play, but both of these players want to and are preparing to play a long game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Neither, or well, we're in game 2. John
is up again.
John could play endurance. What if he has endurance? Ooh.
The other thing is John
seems
has
good.
2 cards in hands, and I think Ray has like 7.
Well, he did Flame of Anor, so he grabbed 2 there.
Ray
Got
has 5. Yeah. Oh, we have a Takanuma of our own. I love when your opponent plays a card and you go,
Mhm.
what does that one do? When you yourself have one to just
you gotta-
fully put them off the scent.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a
Can't-
really good way to read the card, but you read their copy when you need to read the card
Just
in
to
your
refresh
hand.
yourself. Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Nicol Bolas the Ravager is here.
Here
Brr, brr,
it
brr, brr.
comes.
There it is.
Put down facing your opponent so that they can read
Right.
it.
Not even the secret layer version, Ray.
No, just a
Yeah.
classic version here.
Oh, and I wonder if,
ETB discard a card.
and this might be part of the reason we got rid of the Inti. This Bolas would have given a free Inti trigger when they
Mhm.
discarded,
Mm-hmm.
while also being an incredible card.
Yeah, heads up there. We'll discard. Is that?
Terra Sunder.
Oh my god, I thought it was a Thragtusk for a second.
Oh my goodness! If Seismic Assault came back with Thragtusk, people would be spamming hashtag boomer everywhere.
Yeah.
Let us bring back one boomer thing at a time.
I know last round we had Ponza. This round we got Jund.
And Snapcaster.
And Snapcaster.
We're time traveling here at the NRG home store.
I know. We always have this like boomer v zoomer narrative going on. I love it.
Because in the background of this Jund v Grixis matchup
Mhm.
is like 4 players putting rhinos into play.
Yeah, absolutely. The most modern
rhinos is the
competitive-
most zoomery zoom,
Yeah.
right?
100%.
As Magus of the Moon tries out one more time to lock down Ray's mana. And it will work. So John here
will.
has a forest and a swamp in play. I know it's hard to tell with the Phyrexian ones. And Ray now locked on just this single island, and we are Tidebinding the Shieldred trigger off the draw.
And because Shieldred is a creature, as long as Tidebinder's on the field, that will
Locked down.
remain completely locked down. It loses Death Touch even. It's fully
Yeah.
a blank text box. It is still a 4/5 body. Nico Bolas does fly though.
Right, here comes Bolas.
Dun 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 dun.
You have Magus of the Moon, but I have this one big flyer.
I have an Elder Dragon.
Elder Dragon. We have a Bolt for this Tidebinder to unlock our Shieldred. John is working with this single card.
Mm-hmm.
And we did this in our upkeep. Beautiful play, right? To allow ourselves to get that Shieldred draw from our draw set. And it's red in 6. Hoo-wee.
Ooh. Get the Takanuma back?
Oh, what a cool... Yes, Viva, get the Takanuma back. Because we already have a Shieldred in place.
Yes,
so
that
Takanuma is
reduces
cheaper.
channel. Mm-hmm. Because it's 4 to channel, but it doesn't
Yes.
matter.
Ray down to 1. Wow, I thought Ray was ahead in this game a moment
Oh, never
ago.
mind. We shot the Snapcaster instead. I got excited.
Get the blockers out of the way.
That makes more sense. That's a good play.
But we still have access to all of our mana and the Takanuma next turn, right? There's
Mhm.
no rush. And Ray can't attack with this Bolas because they would just die on the crackback. So now they're forced to leave us as a blocker. The Ren deals the single point of damage to Ray, and that's the game.
Boy, another 2-0 there. Wow, this new old Assault Loam deck.
Yeah, it has a lot of new toys, right? When
Yeah.
it gets to play Red and 6 and Shieldred in the ring, very different from the old days for this deck.
Absolutely. We'll take down Grixis Wizards there into that's both of our feature matches. If you're looking to play some competitive Magic yourself at the store or at the NRG series, we will be in a brand new location this year in Elmhurst, Chicago, February 17th and 18th, the week before the Pro Tour in the same formats as the Pro Tour, Pioneer and Standard. And if you catch something else, it's a double showdown weekend. That means the winner of both Saturday and Sunday automatically qualify for our championship event at the year. 24 players, $35,000. You can be one of those players. You got to spike a single showdown, and that's it. And then
And
you get a token.
You get a token. That's what I'm saying here.
You get that jackets.
There's a jacket too.
You get the
You
jackets.
get the jacket.
You get all that good stuff. If you get all the points, you can get free entry next year. Steven Dykeman's playing for free this year.
Hey, shout out to the People's Champ.
The People's Champ, just an absolutely stellar run last year. And that could be you this year, our very first event of the year. Get it started right this February 17th and 18th. With that being said, though, that wraps up coverage for round 2. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay tuned.
See y'all soon.
Welcome back, folks. We're in our third round of Wednesday Night Modern League, and we've got another great matchup for you here. A couple of green decks in Jund Loam that we saw last round, and a classic Yawgmoth. You know we had to get him on camera eventually. Danny is third in our league right now. He's hoping to get some more points up here with our second place out of town, and our first place sitting at 1-1. So hoping to regain a bit of the lead that he had in the earlier weeks here. He's playing against a newcomer in John. We'll see how these two decks stack up against each other, both graveyard-based decks. So we'll see if how they handle each other here.
Yes, and I was chatting with John after their match. Returning to competitive Magic. Shout out, welcome back, John. Really appreciate seeing you out here.
Hell yeah.
And found this deck randomly online, called it a brew, called it a pile, and I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm way too plugged in, and I was like, yeah, we've been playing a bunch of this deck lately.
Yeah, if you're not terminally online, then it sort of comes out of
John
nowhere.
is blissfully apart from that, and was just like, yeah, I just picked up something. I was like, big congrats. I want to feel that way, and The part of the return to competitive Magic, as we'll see as we go through this game, might be how much you know about Yawgmoth.
That's a really good point here. I feel like Danny co- comes against a lot of opponents that know exactly what he's on before he's even played his first card, and he might have a little bit of an advantage here. Gonna play a standard card in front of Danny.
Danny's gonna read this Inti. Oh yeah, welcome, welcome. And I don't know if this shows strength of a hand or weakness of a hand, this turn 1 Dryad Arbor.
Mm-hmm. Yawgmoth doesn't always have a turn 1 play, so sometimes it can be fine, because it is a summoning sick land.
And Danny might be factoring that into what their lands look like for the rest of the game, that we needed this one to be summoning sick so that the ones for the rest of the game were immediately accessible.
Right, yeah. It's also a killable land, though.
That was my worry, is like, oh, if our just turn 1 land drop gets bolted, that may really put us behind.
Yeah, we know John's running bolts. We saw them last round, so we could just lose our land here at any moment. We'll shock in an Overgrown Tomb, though, and play some sort of 2-drop. We have Bowmasters, we have Cauldron, we have
the Wall of Roots. So
a Wall of Roots.
And this might be a part of the reason to play the Dryad Arbor out early, is your Wall of Roots means so much mana along the as you keep going that it's worth taking the one hiccup on turn 1. I expected the wall to immediately activate and play a 1-drop, but we still passed it back on that one as well.
Just playing one spell a turn here. Some fair magic going on.
And I see in John's hand a Forgotten Cave. It is the red cycles for a colored mana, so it cycles for a single red, which is a part of, it's a really good card to pick up the Arenan 6, a really good card to pick up with Life from the Loam, and it's a way to draw a card and trigger this Inti, so it kind of draws 2 cards if you are able to play the card revealed off the Inti as well.
Can we get Inti up on the screen too? I know we've talked about it a lot, and it's got a lot of text on it.
Yeah, so I apologize. I've been saying draw, but the second ability in Inti says when you discard a card, you may exile the top card of your library, and you may play it until your next end step, specifically in that way that if it triggers on your opponent's turn, you've got a little bit of time with the card. As the namesake, Seismic Assault, turn 3, here to play, and a card that is going to heavily trigger these Intis. And if we want to discard that land from our hand, to kill off this Dryad Arbor.
And there it goes. We'll discard a forest and kill the land there. Discard a land. Seismic Assault deals 2 damage to any target. 2 damage does just about every creature in Danny's deck.
Yogg will need 2, but that'll be worth it.
Yeah. Minus the Yogg and 3 for the Sholdred if she comes around. But it cleans up the rest of that board pretty nicely. I guess also minus the Wall of Roots, though I don't think we're shooting a wall.
And being able to turn your forest into Stone Rain, greatly appreciated. Turning 3 of them into kill a Wall of Roots, maybe not so much.
Maybe not the value that we're looking for there. All right, but we can see the engine start to build here on John's side of the board. Danny, a bit of a slow start here, but he's definitely got some ramp power available to him. Play out a second wall of Roots, speaking of. We'll see if he can do anything. I think I saw a Cauldron. I'm surprised I haven't seen that come down yet. I guess there's nothing to chuck in it yet. But that's something you want to clear your mana, use your mana on early, just be efficient with your mana, and be able to play your other stuff, your more relevant stuff later.
What's going to be really interesting about this game is I think both of these players, as every turn goes by, will be learning something about the opponent's deck. Right? John getting back into it, maybe trying to figure out along these lines like what Yawgmoth is up to. Danny, having read the Seismic Assault and the Inti, I think is also going to be learning all about John's deck.
Yeah, there's definitely sort of archetypes that decks fall into. So Danny might have a general idea of what exactly John's trying to do, but maybe not, the exact thing, what exact cards he might have in his hand until he sees them.
And I mean,
whoa!
Correct me, we're double chucking at this Wall of Roots and triggering our Inti twice.
All right, so we're going to flip over a couple of cards here. We'll see if John hits anything good. He's going to flip them off camera, though.
Right. And Danny...
It's a secret to everybody.
I think Danny floated a green, and a part of the reason is Danny does have a Passeju in hand, so answer to this Seismic Assault is available, but I think we're being tug and pulled between advancing our own board stake and shutting down John's.
Wall of Roots, can you use multiple times a turn?
No. So I think... it looks like we had used one of our walls already that turn, so flew to the green just in case, but no discount available.
Got it.
But I think the thought was enough for me to see the Beseiju going through Danny's hand and probably through their thought process.
For sure. Inti will attack here. We have potential blocks in a wall of roots. Maybe we don't want to lose it, though. It's already got a -1 counter on it, so it would die to a single seismic assault target there. We're going to double block. Ooh. Danny is just in a rough spot here.
Yeah. And John here kindly pointing out their seismic assault that they could break up your double block.
Indeed, indeed. Lots of pressure being put on Danny right now with these 2 red cards.
And tossing, we're drawing a lot of lands. We're just throwing them at these wall of roots.
Yeah,
we're seeing that Danny is short on lands, and we have our own Ren and 6 to refuel. And then we just quick minus this Ren, killed off that Bowmaster.
We gotta get a deck list from this guy. I guess he said he grabbed it off of somewhere. So
yeah, I think we have the Goldfish,
and
the Goldfish might be very, very close.
Okay, so we'll be able to see that during sideboards here. I'm digging it, though. I mean...
the Life from the Loam, I think, got exiled at some point because I'm seeing one in the cards John was playing out there. And that's the final piece of the puzzle. Ren and 6 allows you to do like 1 land per turn. Life from the Loam lets you pick up 3 of those lands. And having access to just like a card that means like 6 damage a turn on top of all the other game actions. When you have Inti, you're exiling 3 cards and you start to play them. You can kind of see where the machine comes from. We just need time to get it set up, and this clunky draw from Danny is giving us all the time we need.
Absolutely, yeah. Danny could definitely be doing a lot more here. No fault of his own, obviously. The deck does what the deck does. But yeah, he's kind of just letting John do his thing here.
And we just Life from the Loam there, so we saw 3 cards hit the bin, and then we picked up.
Here we go. Some fight still left, and Danny will Boseiju this Seismic Assault. We can do some stuff in response, though, so we can still send some damage his way if we so deign to.
And now, John, thinking, because I think we have 1, maybe 2 lands in hand, thinking, are these worthwhile as lands? Should we toss them? And it looks like, oh yeah, we're thinking again, because once this assault's gone, we don't have access to another one just yet.
Yeah, I wonder how many he plays. Do you think it's a full playset?
Full 4. All right. Because it's kind of the heart and soul of the deck, right?
For sure.
We were playing a couple in the team Discord, seeing just kind of like what the deck's about. Like, oh, let's just play this, see what's going on. And the games where you did and didn't draw a Seismic Assault were night and day. Like, it is the backbone of what you're trying to do.
Totally. That makes a lot of sense.
Because, like, this Inti is kind of good now, but lost its, like, main card to go with it. Life from the Loam is kind of good, but loses its card to pair with. And I think that's why people are drawn to this Jund shell, is you still have Ren and 6, Rings, Shieldred. Like, you have a lot of real cards still, Bowmasters cards that you can draw to when you don't have the full plan going, and just have this inevitable engine possibly available.
Yeah, you don't want a deck to fall apart if you lose a single card, right? You need other cards to support it.
Right, so plan A falls to the wayside. We'll just plan other A is also here, right? Just having a full Jund strategy.
Here comes another Life from the Loam. We'll pick up some more lands here.
Right, we want to pick up the Forgotten Cave because that's going to allow us to cycle. The Sekenzin, because that's going to allow us to have access to being able to get elementals off discarding that, triggering the Inti, picking with Ren, and going back to work again. We can kind of use this one Sekenzin to create an entire army.
Yeah, we can channel that for some little 1/1s there.
And discounted by this Inti.
Yeah, Inti's legendary, so that'll help there. Does Red and 6 discount it as well because it's legendary?
I believe it's only legendary creatures. I think they tried to benefit Commander gameplay because it's during that era of design. And now we're back to just like normal, not so juiced design.
For sure,
as Agatha's Soul Cauldron. The true, like, big whammy for Danny's deck, but none of the toys to play with, and we're instead going after John's Life from the Loam.
I think that's a pretty good call there. That's a good card in John's deck, so we'll eat that there.
And Bowmaster here to play, and now we're just seeing a very normal strategy, right? We're going to have this Inti attacking and slowly gaining counters either on itself or some of these creatures with its first ability, which is when you attack, you may discard. If you do, a creature gets 1/1 counter and trample, which then triggers the second part.
The trample is so relevant sometimes, too. That one catches me by surprise a lot. Because it buffs another creature, too, if you attack with something else.
It has to go on an attacker, but it does not have to go on Inti.
We got this Bowmaster putting some pressure on Danny as well. Gosh, he's just been stuck on 2 lands for so long. Hasn't been able to draw a single one.
Now remember,
And
we channeled the Beseiju, we got our Arbor killed, and we got both our Wall of Roots killed. So John was on the quasi LD plan that whole time, and it quickly came to fruition, taking down Danny with a bolt at the end.
Yeah, John will take down game 1 there. We'll go into sideboards here and take a look at some deck lists. The first one will be John's, grabbed off of MTG Goldfish. So we don't know if this is his exact list, but probably pretty similar because he's just getting back into it and probably hasn't made too many changes yet.
We may not have cards like Ragavan or Halfling if we're trying to get just back into the game. We might have the big monies on something kind of weird or just Ragavan dollars. But we saw almost all the rest of these cards out in play.
And we'll look at the sideboard now. We got Magus of the Moon, Terra Sunder, Chalice of the Void, Engineered Explosives, Cursed Totem, Blood Moon, Leyline of the Void, and a Beseiju.
All right, so just generally speaking, a lot of these sideboards, you're going to have cards that have Yawgmoth's name written all over them. Even if you're coming back to the game and you're looking at lists online, if you see a lot of sideboards with just Graveyard Hate in some way, shape, or form, maybe you see all of them have Cursed Totem, that's going to make it very likely that whatever Graveyard Hate we do have, we're probably very likely to bring it in. If we know. The thing is none of the Yawgen happened that game. At most, we saw an Agatha's Soul Cauldron eat our life from the loam. So the question is we most likely have the sideboard tools. The question is, do we know that those are the tools we're looking for yet?
Yeah, a lot of this hinges on how well-informed John is. Like you said, he's just getting back into the game. So how much knowledge has he absorbed about the modern format as it is in its current state? Yawgmoth, of course, was printed during the Modern Horizons era. So is a relatively new card in the deck itself, a newer strategy as well. So we'll see if he's able to adapt to that. We'll take a look at Danny's deck list as well. Classic Yawgmoth build here. Not too much of note, but we'll take a look at his sideboard. It's Haywire Might, Scavenging Ooze, Soulless Jailer, Fulminator Mage, Reclamation Sage, Fatal Push, Thought Seize, Terra Sunder, Force of Vigor, and Chalice of the Void.
So what's very interesting about this Yawgmoth deck playing against the Assault Loam strategy is Yawgmoth is already incentivized to, in the blind, bring in some number of disenchant effects because literally everyone has Cursed Totem, right? They're sometimes just incentivized to bring in a Rex Sage, these Force of Vigors, this Terra Sunder, just in case, because so many people have Cursed Totems.
Yeah.
Then the question is we're most likely to bring these in anyways. Well, now all of them also target Assault, right? So we talked about this last week. There's sometimes splash damage off good sideboard cards being so universal. Sometimes they hit A, which is their most important aspect, but then get to hit B for free in a matchup. So in this scenario where it's like we're so worried about Cursed Totem out of all sideboards, we're bringing in answer to a problem, and we get to answer a second problem for free.
Yeah, that's why it's nice to keep your sideboard plans vague.
Yeah, as generic as you can, right?
But still planned, right?
Yeah,
so you want to be able to hit all the big archetypes, but then, some silver bullets as well. Depending on like your local meta, for example, where we see core firewalkers or leyline of entities, that kind of thing.
So if I'm Danny, I'm looking at least at the Scavenging Ooze because you saw just them churning through the graveyard, right? Things like Brennan 6, Life from the Works. You can eat some of that up. And then, like I said, I may look at cards like Terra Sunder, Force, and even Haywire Might, and even Reclamation Sage, just to kind of have access to all of those disenchant effects I have. Because outside of Haywire Might, all of those can answer Cursed Totem, but they can also even answer the Seismic Assault.
Absolutely. I think he was stuck on 2 mana, and he had that Cauldron in hand for a long time. I think if he had played it a couple of turns earlier, that might have helped him out and sort of stymied the flow a little bit.
And that's if you know that this is a Seismic Assault opponent, right? Like, to begin the game out, you're like, oh, interesting. Who's this guy? All right, well, I need to develop my mana. And they go, oops, and they're off to the races on their engine.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think there was too much you could have done there. Well,
it's the difficulty of being low on lands, right? You're forced to choose between advance my board state or stop theirs. And there's kind of no good answer because in Magic, you're trying to always do both.
Absolutely. Well said. Players are still shuffling up here, so we'll take a look at our backup match for just a quick second.
You want to take a peek? Let's take a peek.
Yeah, let's see what they're doing over there. We got Devin and Emma. Devin's playing Rhinos. Emma's playing Burn. Another burn player hit the meta in the local group. Here we
Yeah.
go.
Wii U, Wii U, Wii U. Wow.
she's up a game as well, so doing pretty good.
Devin's deck looks gorgeous.
Yeah, whose deck does that belong to? Devin usually plays Yawgmoth.
That's my cardboard. That's my cardboard.
we had to feature
Just a quick
Dom's
peek.
beautiful deck on stream here just for a second at least.
Quick peek as the Burn Menace takes down our Rhinos player. Perfect timing.
Yeah, look at that.
Peace out. We'll see you in the main feature back here in our overgrown tomb face down. As looks like our Yogg player Danny here taking a mulligan. John, hand in head could just be a normal pose for them, or it could be an in the tank. But this looks like we're shuffling through a keep.
You know what's so funny? We usually have a burn player on our round 4 feature because Adam is usually our burn player. But this week we got a different
undefeated burn player.
A different undefeated burn player.
And we saw out of all these sideboards we're looking at, people are getting prepped. And I don't know if it matters yet.
I know it's so funny because people are super prepared for burn here, which I feel like most LGSs. I don't know. Well, I don't know. Burn is something, newer people generally bring.
But we're locked in on the league. Number 1 player is playing burn.
Yeah.
You got to start playing some sideboard cards.
Absolutely. And Emma just advanced to 3-0 there, so got to be doing some good stuff.
I mean,
we'll see her in the next round.
Yeah, I mean, very likely to, if y'all want to go to bed early, might be burn in the finals, so that always helps.
Absolutely.
And it looks like Danny post mulligan's deep in the tank on the debate again. Danny, such an expressive player. It makes it very helpful for us to see what's going on with them as well.
That's really well said. The face cams add so much to coverage.
Oh, the best part.
Absolutely. Just seeing hands just doesn't really give you the feel of the camaraderie and the sort of back and forth that players can have with each other.
How are you going to hit him with the finger guns if you don't have can, right? Like,
probably the best face cam moment we've ever had on stream. Dom's finger gun moments, immortalized forever in an emote on the Discord.
Yeah. Join the Discord just to use the emotes, right?
Yes, and get Nitro so that you can use it in all of your friends' Discord.
George has been doing that to me.
Yes.
As Danny is on the beatdown plans, right? You're on the play. You had to mulligan pretty low in your Yawgmoth deck, and you saw that your opponent is doing just the Jund thing, right? You know that no matter what, they clearly seem like they're trying to grind through the game and just grind you out. Well, what if you don't ever let them get there? What if we're on, this is the Strangle Root plan. Back when we had 4 of these, you played the beatdown plan a lot. Now that we have 1 of these, we might as well use it.
And it's so interesting because in game 1, John was able to hit some of the only creatures without undying in Danny's deck, right?
We didn't see any of these.
Yeah, so now if you try and seismic assault these guys, they come back.
Yeah. Thankfully, both of them are susceptible to double land because they'll undying and they'll still only come back with 2 toughness. So we can at least kind of get them. But we didn't see any of these friends game 1.
They got a little more staying power. We'll play a run and 6 on John's second turn here, pick up his fetch. Go back to Danny on the beatdown. Do we keep swinging face here? I don't think we target this Ren and 6.
Yeah.
It's not killable here, so we'll just keep putting some pressure.
This Ren means nothing to me. We saw in Danny's hand, we drew our Reclamation Sage.
Never mind. Danny will disagree with me. He's the better Yogg player for sure.
When Danny was shuffling through their hand, I saw an artifact, and I was like, why'd you bring in Curse Totem? And then they put Soul Card, and I was like, oh, right. You're the Yawgmoth player.
Yeah, they have a different artifact in their
John
retinue
does have
there.
Curse Totem in hand. But John has Curse Totem in hand. But Danny has Reclamation Sage in hand.
Oh,
because
boy.
you incentivize to bring that card in anyways.
Debating on a shock here from John on his fetch. He will opt for that, bringing him to 13. This Agatha's Soul Cauldron can also eat this. Do you get opportunity when, is there like a trigger when the shot comes in to pay 2 that Danny can respond to and eat the land? Okay.
No. It's like just a part of it entering. And an important part to know about John's mana, you just like look at it. A thing that's very important is Seismic Assault is red. It is full triple red. So anytime you have to take a turn to like play up a Seiju so you can cast this Ren, it pushes your Seismic turns back. When you're fetching and you're like, oh, should I fetch for a basic Swamp here? Remember, you're pushing your Seismic turns back, which sometimes is something you're looking to do anyways. Like, oh, I need to interact early and I'll slam this down later. But it's important to know about your mana to make sure that if you want access, you can have access. But, John was incentivized to play our land, get our Ren 6, and get everything going. But it's important to know that you can't just slam, looks like the 2 Seismic Assaults in their hand, because we needed to play out this Boseiju early.
Absolutely. And then if we uptick the Ren, then we can respond with the Agassiz Soul Cauldron, so he still can't grab this land back.
Yeah, that's kind of the exact moment that as long as Danny remains patient, they can just eat that from John.
Mm-hmm.
The secret, I don't know, 5th mode of Agatha's Soul Cauldron is it can also be Graveyard Hate if you need it to be.
Yeah, it's like a relic of Progenitus.
Yeah, it has a relic mode as well, but you get to target. So it gets to even
it
even gets to be more impactful.
It's like unlicensed hearse then?
Yeah, it gives you a little baby hearse impression while also being one of your huge combo pieces.
There you go. John passed back without casting anything. I wonder what kind of instant speed interaction he has besides... Oh, we've got a Bowmaster, and I think I might have also seen a Bolt, though that could have been the Seismic. We will shoot the Strangle Root. Take that out of combat.
Yep, not bad, right? Save some damage, and then you can block with your token. And if Danny tries to draw later, you get to recreate this token. So kind of use as much of the value as you can. We have 2 Curse Totems in hand now. Just haven't been able to play them out yet.
How much is Curse Totem?
2.
It's just 2.
But we wanted to play this Bowmaster.
I guess that's what he was tanking on.
John's kind of in the situation Danny was in the first game, having to constantly decide between advancing your own board state or stalling what your opponent's doing. John is kind of taking the best middle with his Bowmaster, trying to advance a little while trading off a little.
An Endurance found its way into the graveyard. I don't know exactly how that happened.
And I believe we pitched it.
Oh, is Danny playing the new Surveil land?
Love it. Thank you so much. Which I think the Orcs should be playing.
They absolutely should. If there's a deck that can benefit from the new Murders at Karlov Manor Surveillance, fetchable Surveillance, it would be a Yawgmoth deck. So the Endurance will get thrown into the soup there, and Yawg Daddy himself...
Yeah, Daddy's home.
...onto the field for Danny.
But John, using this fetch here, is going to gain access to the Seismic Assault in our hand. Ren's going to allow us to pick up that Bloodstained Mire because we ate our Endurance instead. And if we want to, we can throw 2 lands at this Yawgmoth. We could throw a land at one of these Undying creatures and force Danny to take some action, which would trigger our Bowmaster. There's a lot of options available to John, and a lot of it is going to be about... They let us pick up with our Ren and 6, right? That's step 1. Oh, because Danny only has 1 card, so we can't even, pitch cast an Endurance, right? We have to just let that happen. And now it's up to kind of who blinks first. Does John throw a land first? Does Danny try to start doing something first? Gotta take a peek at that Yawg.
I think John's got to throw the first stone here. Play out the Seismic as the first step.
And we have, I think,
if you've got 2 lands, you've got to go for the Yawg.
We do have 2.
Except then you can just throw it in the soup.
Yeah, then Yawg goes in the soup.
And then both these creatures already have counters on them, so they could do it too.
Yeah, I feel like I kind of want to throw it at a creature, because then Danny will have to, kind of try to reset, but then that triggers our Bowmaster, and then when trying to reset, we can throw at the other. And it might be, do we try to kill Yawg, or do we kill everything alongside Yawg?
All right, the first land has hit the graveyard. And I believe it was at the Strangler Root, guys. It wasn't super clear what John was throwing it at.
We'll see what Danny does here. I actually like killing off the creatures because we're going to draw 1 or 2 cards off trying to do this stuff here with Yawg. But then neither of these cards are good to put into the soup. And if we kill Yawgmoth, it's already a prime target to put into it. So we're kind of most incentivized to leave this Yawgmoth here and take care of everything else.
So it looks like...
Looks like we sacrificed in response to the targeting.
And then we're going to respond.
Yeah, we're responding. We're throwing the Stringer. John, this is what I would have done. I think we just need to try to clear these away.
Yeah, because putting these in the soup doesn't... There's no activated abilities to grant anything.
Danny, a great use here of the Strangler, guys. Sacrifice the Yawgmoth's ability and puts the -1 counter on the Bowmaster. Let's kill that off and draw our card.
There you go. So no Orc army production will happen there.
Right, because I believe the literal exact line of Yogg is put a -1 counter on it, period, draw a card.
I think it's colon, but yeah.
I see.
So the cost will resolve before the effect there. Oh? Oh?
Ooh.
Maybe we are incorrect on that. Can we get Yogg up? It's from the first
it's the
trigger.
resolution of the first sacrifice.
For sure.
Makes sense. Thank you so much. And
Very
now
good.
Danny flooded again. Just Yogg in play. Not a lot to sacrifice to it. Not very good stuff to eat with the soup.
Though we don't have good stuff to throw in the stew, we can just keep trimming John's graveyard here. He's a very graveyard-based deck, so just grab some of those lands.
Yeah. I wonder... Danny and I were on Team Dryad Arbor. We saw it in Game 1. We can turn this Misty Rainforest into a Dryad Arbor and eat that Dryad Arbor with our Yawgmoth if we're just in the mood for more cards.
If we just want to dig a little bit.
And then Dryad Arbor is a pretty decent thing to put into the soup because then everyone becomes a Mana Dork.
Oh, okay. Very fair. Here's the Rex Sage.
Yep. Been floating in our hand this game.
And now we don't have it for a curse totem.
Right.
That we don't know is sitting in John's hand.
That John has 2 up in hand.
2 up. So even if he had Rex Saged it, he would still be in trouble here.
And John's deck, 0 activate abilities out of any of their creatures, right? So that allows him to play this curse totem very freely.
He's got an enchantment with an activated ability, but that doesn't get hurt by a curse totem.
It's not scared of no totem. And then there's the Dryad Arbor.
All right. Good call.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite parts. So I had the same reasoning for putting the Surveil land in here that allows you to turn your fetches into more card selection. Same thing, Dryad Arbor also lets you turn fetches into card selection when you have Yawgmoth. You can see both of those now playing out, allowing us to get that Surveil early on and now fetching for this Dryad Arbor and getting an extra draw out of kind of a useless Misty.
Do you think Danny's just playing the one Surveil land then?
I think so. I hope it's over a Blooming Marsh too. I hate that.
The Kaladesh lands are like your least favorite kind of land. It's so funny.
If it's going to enter tapped half the time anyways, I want it to Surveil.
That's fair. The temples were played for a bit, and this one's fetchable.
I bet the Surveil lands are going to do big work in Standard, especially when Domain is a mechanic. It allows you to just have temples that still trigger Domain.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see what cards I might be adding or what my opponents might be playing next week. Week 3, I think, is the first time.
Of the VML?
Of the VML, baby. Check me out.
Check it out.
Maybe I'll be on feature one of these weeks. We'll see.
And now, John, we get to start with a loam. Which the question is, Danny, do you want to eat these, or can I have this stomping ground in this bloodstained mire?
I think the answer is gotta be yes. You gotta eat one. Sorry, the answer's gotta be no. No, you cannot have that.
Yeah, you can't have them. I must eat.
Yes. All right.
Danny looked like firmly yes, and then went, haha, no.
Yeah.
Which I think might be because we want to eat our own Dryad Arbor.
Yeah.
And I think that it's because there's no seismic in play yet. Instead there's this curse totem.
That's a curse totem. That's a curse totem face there.
But John's at 12, and Danny has 4 power in play. And if we activate this, we go up to 5 power in play. But we're eating the life from the loam proper, right? That's why we didn't eat the lands. We want to get the actual loam.
Sick. I like that.
And now Danny can put a counter on these, attack for 5, hopefully play a creature, activate next turn, go up to 6 plus that, and we're going to try to get him dead this turn, next turn, and hopefully have that be enough combat damage.
The 4 damage, eat that.
Yep.
Put it on the Yogg.
Yeah, that's an interesting question, right? Do you want to incentivize a slightly bigger Yawgmoth or a slightly bigger Rex Sage?
Put it out of 2 Seismic Assault triggers.
That's super fair,
Put
right?
it out of range of that.
And now we have this Grist, which is going to make us a 1/1, which is, I think, the single point of power that allows us to do exactly 7 next turn if we want. And a Gilded Goose.
Sure, why not? Let's just start dumping our hand here. Get going.
Yeah,
Get
honk.
a food.
Because we have 3 from Yogg, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with the Insect. We activate Cauldron next turn. That's exactly 7 points of damage. And I think that's a part of the issue with we held these totems so long, is we just went past that stage of the game and went into the beatdown stage.
Yeah, because we only use the Yogg activation once even.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting. Yeah, I mean the seismic assault is probably the better one to get down first. Well,
Right.
no, maybe you let the curse totem fall first to the Rex Sage and then play out the seismic assault because you know
Yeah.
it's safer.
And we see John here scooping him up, right, to just that Xaxes getting in there for that damage. It'll be very interesting what happens in game number 3 because a lot of that game felt really good for John. A lot of game 1 felt really good for John. And I think if both of these players can get some really good draws, the just pure control kill everything out of John might be just enough.
Absolutely. Players shuffling up here. We were talking about those surveillance earlier and their relevance in standard. If you're looking to play some standard yourself, we have an RCQ coming up. I believe we have a slide for it here.
Ooh, take a
There you
peek.
go. Look at that beautiful expressive iteration that you can earn by playing in our standard RCQ Saturday, March 2nd. Lots of good stuff to win there. You can go to RC Dallas if you win. We'd love to help you book your ticket there. March 2nd, I will be there. I will be playing, hopefully, the deck that I've been playing online because I don't have it built in paper. So maybe someone
Oh.
can help me out there.
We'll figure it all out.
We'll figure it out. Chat, what are you hoping to play at a standard RCQ this season? Are you playing in the RCQs? Is standard your thing? Let us know. As we get back into the action here, looks like players are changing up their sideboarding, so they're not going to stick with the sideboards from game 2 here. Some play versus draw, perhaps. Some more insight on their opponent's game plan. See what changes they make here. What are you playing in standard, Dom?
I played in a few RCQs and I played Dykeman's blue black deck.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the type of deck where if you stumble a little, you fall really far behind.
Oh.
And it was the type of deck that you need to like claw to get your wins, right? A deck that's really good for a big brain where they're just like being able to understand and piece through. And a lot of the cards felt good. And I will probably be playing Domain.
Yeah. I feel like maybe that's a lot of standard players'
Yeah.
experience where they try something that's not domain and then they're like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it.
I've seen there's versions of Domain that play a much thinner mana base and they play the Glimpse the Core, the 2-mana rampant growth that can only get a forest.
Oh, okay.
To allow you to get your ramp earlier. They're playing their own Tishana's Tidebinders.
Mm-hmm.
And playing more as like a big mid range as opposed to like straight ramp. But if you can like start the ramp earlier, right? If you start at lower on your curve, it can allow you to get to your bigger stuff. And Archangel of Wrath is an awesome
Ooh,
card.
banger of a card. Absolutely. Yeah, that card cleans up house.
Oh yeah, and I'm an Atraxa all formats gamer, so an excuse to play it in standard as well is really good.
Yeah, that's why I've been playing Domain Killer Bant Toxic.
Oh, I like the toxic decks a lot
The Toxic deck. Oh my goodness, guys. If you have not tried a Bant Toxic list, I implore you to give it a whirl. It is so satisfying.
And,
The lines of play
yeah.
just feel so great, and you have a matchup. You have a good matchup against the best deck in the
Yeah.
format.
And I love any deck with a backdoor combo.
Yes, absolutely. I played against Dakota the other night on Arena, and he like, has seen the deck a couple of times, but he hadn't seen the interaction with me marching my own creatures with
your
Rot
single
Priest.
green creature, your single green card in the whole deck in play.
Literally the only green spell, yeah. And he was like, "Oh, that's insane."
Yeah. Oh, that's why they're here.
Yeah. The card's incredible.
And I like the fact that the deck can like poke through for a few and then proliferate the rest of the way up while playing interactive spells.
Skrelv's Hive is also huge. It just gives you like inevitability basically and helps you deal with a lot of the like Domain has like a 6 sweeper main board. They have like
so
4
many.
depopulates and not 10 blockdowns.
Well,
but Sunfalls.
Some have temp lockdown. Sunfall is really good against
Temp
you.
lockdown usually comes in from the side.
Yeah.
So like they go up to like 8 sweepers.
And
but
my
then
very
March
first
is
standard.
great.
Sorry, my first standard. My very first modern deck I ever bought was Infect.
Oh, really?
Like the Blighted Agent, like literal giant growth in my deck, kill you, like Infect. So to see it return and do well and be like played by good players and the deck gets smoothed out does kind of convince me.
Yeah, absolutely. Noted player on the series, Sarah Shearing, who's in my VML pod, is
Uh-oh.
playing Ban Toxic as well and already booked her ticket to the RC in her
Ooh.
first RCQ of the season playing Ban Toxic.
Yeah. When a friend of the stream, number one on the leaderboard, Adam Weiss, when they won their RSQ a few weeks ago, had to beat Bant Toxic in their last round, and I was like, I mean, you played out of your mind, but your opponent's deck is sweet.
Yeah, yeah. Mono red can be a pretty hard matchup because
Mhm.
they get a lot of creatures
Killer
on the
deck,
ground. Yeah, and they kill my stuff real dead.
real
Um,
dead.
but the thing about mono red is I have 20 life and I only have to deal 10 to them.
Yeah, all your
So,
creatures have pseudo double strike,
mm-hmm.
and I think our players are
And we're
ready.
finally
Mulligan
ready
decisions being
here.
made.
Yeah, we got 12, 13-ish minutes left on the clock here for
Tons
game
of time.
3.
Tons of time.
Yeah, yeah.
And
We're
Danny going back again. Uh-oh.
are we
We're on the
on?
draw, so our mulligans don't hurt that bad, but every card is so important here.
Of course, of course. Game 3 need every advantage possible.
Dun, dun, dun. Danny, I think, kind of wants an aggro draw again. Just put the pressure, because it got there. We just kept pushing and pushing and pushing.
We were on the play last time too, which I
Oh,
think
yeah.
helped a lot. So the aggro plan is going to be a little bit harder when we're on the back foot of a draw.
And I think that's also a part of the reason why I do and don't like the card Curse Totem, because so many people have answers for it, right?
Mm.
But John playing one out early could force Danny to take a turn off to answer it, which allows you maybe the speed bump you need to get to your like 4s and 5 mana spells, which is a part of the reason it lets your Curse Totem act like Blood Moon does sometimes, where if it just distracts your opponent for a couple of turns while you set up, that might be what you need, right? You need Lock Piece and the pressure to follow it up. So if we're on the play and we get a turn 2 totem into like turn 3 seismic, that might be all they wrote.
I was literally about to say turn 2 curse totem, turn 3 seismic. Danny has to choose between one of them with a Rex Sage on his turn
And die to the
3.
other one.
Or if we go to Danny's turn 1 and he plays a mana dork, he can't use it.
Oh, we get totemed out of it. Ooh.
Yeah.
And,
Or if his turn 2 plays a Wall of Roots.
And what if John plays their own mana dork?
Oh, we'll see.
Ding ding, delighted halfling.
Well, then maybe he won't play the curse totem because that turns off his mana dork.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll
Right?
we'll let the players play out the game here instead of playing mental magic from
Totem-
behind
Totem
the
is
screen.
universal, right?
Yeah.
It says all creatures.
It's symmetrical.
I might still be worth it just to play a tap triumph and jam a totem if we had it, but it looks like we might just be. It looks like we might be a land heavy hand from what I saw from John, but I mean, I misspoke earlier. I'm seeing Ragman, Shelly's rings, all of them are in here. So John's got the full suite. We might have had that exact 75 up on screen.
Maybe, yeah.
Oh yeah, bolts and loams.
Ragavans have come down a little bit since they first
Yeah.
spiked.
I also cut them against Yawgmoth.
Oh yeah.
Yawgmoth has all the blockers in the world. Young
Mhm.
Wolf versus Ragavan. Young Wolf wins that fight.
Put him back. Put him back in on the play. Maybe. Maybe.
Young Wolf still comes down, and then if you dash a Ragavan, they have a wall of roots. Like, what are you doing, right?
Yeah, that's fair. Totem was printed before 2005.
So it's actually symmetrical.
What's the significance of the year 2005?
I think the significance is 2024 is asymmetrical, and the olden days is symmetrical.
Oh, I see. Like more like quote unquote fair
Right.
magic cards. Yeah.
Yeah. Now we achieve fairness through brokenness. Like, oh no, this one only affects you. I still get to keep the thing.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Curse Totem, an older card put into the MH2 product, that's how it made its way to Modern. So it's a much older card.
Ley lines were 2005 as well.
Cool.
If Brickman is correct.
Who knows on that one?
Who knows?
As we're just developing, Danny, no play on turn 2. It couldn't possibly mean that you have a Bowmaster, right? As we do a quick fetch here. What could it be? Or it could be Surveillant. Get ourselves set up for the remainder of this game.
There you go.
Getting the tap land out of your deck while also getting a peek at the top. Primo. There it is. Ding, ding, ding.
Do you know the name of it?
Underground Mortuary.
Oh, nice.
I think it's under blank mortuary. It is underground
Mm-hmm.
because the blue-black one is also underground. Under city sewers. Okay, that's the difference between the two. I was like, I know they're both under.
Yeah.
Oh, do I know all of
Under
them
the
already?
city of Ravnica.
All right, wait, yeah. Don't spoil the production. But between, I'm gonna see if I can get them all. Danny looking at a land on top here, very indicative of what they do and don't want. But quickly getting rid of that means I'm not on the hunt for lands. I need these spells.
No, we need some
And we drew a young
spells.
wolf.
Yeah, let's play some things here.
Again, young wolf, 1/1. Maybe throw this into halflings just to make it a little bigger, but that doesn't sound great. And draws like this are why I stopped playing Yawgmoth a long time ago. There are some draws that look mopey.
I don't know.
I'm going to use my grist here, eat my wolf, kill a delighted halfling. Nah, I'm just going to make an
Nah.
insect.
Oh, yeah, clear so many lands. Get them gone.
Yeah, get them gone. Clear them. Big tap on the end step. Cycle Triumph? Yeah, use the dorks. Yeah, cycle this Triumph.
Sick. Nice.
Beautiful.
Good stuff there.
Thinking.
Oh, he doesn't have a Bowmaster then because he used the Swamp.
I know 100% that my eyes deceived me. When John drew their card, I could have swore they drew Emrakul, and I was like, that can't be right. I think it was just the swirls of a Boseiju or maybe this Bloodstained Mire, but I assure you, if you thought that too, it's wrong.
Play out a land for turn here and back into the tank. We have a Boseiju we could use. We have... Oh, I don't know why it's so much harder to see.
Orcish Bowmaster.
I feel like you don't have an advantage sitting on the left side of like the TV, but I feel like you do.
Oh, and a Molten Collapse. I got John's hand on lock there.
Okay, let me look at Danny's side. I'm on the right side of the TV here.
The Colony Garden, Young Wolf.
Stop, no!
Mostly, I like I said, I don't recognize a lot of the art, but boy, can I tell from a sliver on the right side what they look like, because that's how you see them in your hand.
I work with Magic cards all day. I'm used to seeing the full, in high res right in front of my face. Okay.
Molten Collapse, taking down this Grist. Great, easy 1-for-1. If we had cracked our fetch land, we could have taken the Young Wolf or Insect token with us.
Yeah, we could have descended. Dreadbore with upside.
Yeah, we could have, I guess at a minimum, eaten the Insect and truly 1-for-1 to the Grist. But maybe we're more interested in just having this uncracked fetch. No problemo. Colony Garden here, making a plant. Could make a Kyle Gonzalez token.
Could make a little small of NRG token with NRG champs competitor Kyle Gonzalez.
Which might see tons of play with Insidious Roots. Card that's very good on the new set. Making
I was
a lot
waiting
of
to see Danny if Danny had Insidious Roots.
I know Danny traded for some after round 1, so they might be coming later.
So he didn't have him before round 1. Maybe he was running late today, so maybe he was hoping to have him by round 1, but wasn't able to grab him.
Double blocking this Insect, just doing what we need to do with these two halflings. It gets pumped up by the Pendelhaven, a sneaky card in the Yawgmoth mana base, but making this into a 2/3 Insect.
Oh, is that true? The second mode on Molten Collapse is non-creature?
Thank you, Chatter. Much appreciated. Thank you, second Chatter. Much appreciated.
Where have you guys been all night? You only show up when we say something wrong.
It's okay. I'll say many more wrong things if you guys will
There we go.
around.
We'll just bait them into it.
Yeah. Orcish Bowmaster here, allowing us to shoot down the Insect that we're so badly trying to finish off. And the best answer to a Bowmaster is a Bowmaster.
It's a borderless Bowmaster.
Oh, yeah. Best answer to a Bowmaster is borderless Bowmaster.
Way to one-up your opponent, too. Here's the nicer version of your card.
Check this one out. And we finally have eaten that Insect, but Danny, the best Bowmaster is also the second one, because theirs is gone and you get to keep yours. And now untapping for John. Still a couple of cards still in hand here.
Yeah, life totals are 11 to 19 here. Danny in a good spot with more dominant board position. But John can potentially clean some stuff up here. Drew a Bowmaster.
Bow for bow.
What's better than a second Bowmaster? A third
one.
Bowmaster.
Yeah, they get cumulatively better. Every time you draw one, it's better than the last one that was played.
And he still had the Orc army, so that amasses another counter as well.
Yeah, Danny, it looks like their hand might be land, wolf. Not great, not great.
John hoping for, like you said, a game without Seismic Assault.
It feels so different, right?
It's so different.
You just have halflings and bowmasters. This isn't it.
Yeah, chuck a guy.
Yeah, you're gonna make these a little bigger.
Chuck them.
Chuck them in there, because and they can still be pumped currently by the Pendelhaven.
I was about to say, yeah. Buff them.
Yeah, buff them. And we see
Ooh.
love this I love Takanuma. Like, what a great way to like utilize. And now we can pick up this Bowmaster. I think we can pick up this other Bowmaster. Yeah, we'll pick this Bowmaster up. And just if Danny's gonna have this anemic of a draw, I'm gonna keep drawing Bowmasters and shooting it down.
I sometimes misthink on Takanuma because there's like some newer cards, especially in like I think it's like March, like Seed of Hope. The stuff you mill over has to
No,
be what you pick
must be
from.
those. Yeah,
But
Takanuma's
Takanuma can
nice.
grab anything,
Anybody, it
which is
fills the
sick.
yard for you, so you can sometimes fire it off and just get from those three. But also you have everything you've played over the course of the game at your disposal.
Yeah, so you can get lucky if you got nothing, or you
Yep.
can know what you already can get.
I used to play in like the really, really early versions of the coffers decks before they got like Ring and Shieldred and all these good cards.
Mm.
And it still was just like, oops, I drew this card. Or you answered card, oops, I'll just pick it up again.
Easy peasy.
And in here, like John could just use it to loop these Bowmasters, maybe pick it up with a run in 6. Love what it's doing.
I like the very timid turn sideways. They're like,
I think because they wouldn't win that combat. Danny is able to just Pendelhaven up and eat it, but Danny has to be worried about the third Bowmaster, the one John just picked up.
I mean, if you're attacking with that, it's gotta send off some alarm bells in your head.
Right. So John's got this 2/2 Black Orc Army token. Danny's got their 1/1, this 0/1 green plant. Like, they're. Danny's fighting, drawing the good cards. We've drawn a Grist. Mill that halfling, good. I don't want to see it.
Yeah,
But
Grist keeping us in here. We got two to three creatures in the graveyard, so Grist alt could do some work in a minute here.
if I'm John,
Glancing
I
at
really.
the clock, we got like 2 minutes left here.
John needs to draw like a Shieldred or a Ring and like really just turn this game on its head. And if Danny draws Yawgmoth, same deal. If any of these players draw their good 4-drops.
Yeah, both these players need some good draws right now.
Oh, and I agree. Good idea from the chatter. John ripped this deck offline. Probably could also use new Surveillance. A lot of like a little bit of mopiness when you have the seismic thing going. It just is cardboard, is a good tap land to find. Right here, if we found a Raucous Theater, we could have used that and surveilled for one instead of this Blood Crypt. There's a lot of utility. I think we're going to see these Surveillance all over the place, folks.
Yeah, they're pretty easy to include. You know, Lancet Enter Tap might not be every deck's bread and butter.
You can fetch for them,
but you can fetch for them, so you can grab them in moments where you don't need that mana right away.
Oh, I'm also thinking about like any deck with Leyline Binding. It even just has a lower cost. Just like, oops, it still has the land types I need for this domain stuff. And John drawing this life from the loam. Pick up Takanuma. Pick up Takanuma. Yes.
Again.
Takanuma, Forgotten Cave. Pick up that second Forgotten Cave. Full value.
More cycle,
more good. Get to the good cards. Because also the Forgotten Cave cycle, pick up the life from the loam. You can just kind of like, they can pick up each other. That's their own little loop, while also giving you access to the other ones. We pick up Beseiju instead of the Takanuma. Did you see that right? Oh.
Yeah.
That's the 4th remaining card.
Okay. All right, I believe we're about to enter time here.
We're in the turns moment.
Okay.
Which is, oh, there he is. I was about to say, because one of us needs to start putting the game away, and I was like, we need the good cards, but Danny just showed us a Yogg.
Yeah, and that cord was the other thing he needed.
That's okay. This Yogg will find the rest.
We're gonna start digging. We got 2 undying creatures here, so we can
look at the top 15 cards. We have 16 life, so we can start digging.
Oh boy.
And we might know. I think we know 3 of the 4 cards in John's hand. We know all 4. The 4th is a Beseiju. Danny only has a single piece of cardboard to be wary of.
We have a Bowmaster.
But yeah, if we start drawing these cards, pew 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 pew, pew from double Bowmaster from John. So we have a lot less than the 15 of doing my typical Yogg math, because 2 Bowmasters really changes that.
Yeah, absolutely. That Orc army gets huge, so maybe we do the Yogging on John's end step.
Oh, and that maybe would have disincentivized me. I was in favor of picking up these Forgotten Caves, but they might play a little into Danny's Bowmasters, but thankfully didn't have one there in response or anything. And John drew Seismic Assault off that cycle, and we have Life from the Loam already going, And if we have the Forgotten Cave, Life from the Loam, and Seismic Assault, those three together can churn through like butter.
Oh, yeah.
But the question is can Danny push through before John untaps and starts putting that to work?
Yeah, we're in a pretty tenuous situation here. And in turns, I think
And in turns.
we gotta die somewhere, maybe. Just confirm where they are exactly. I believe John will be turn 1 here. We'll get
John's
production out
a-thinking.
to check exactly what our board state is here.
Yeah, our hand of land, seismic.
We do have an ult at 5, so she can ultimate.
Ooh, we love a grist ult around here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you can send that upstairs, I
Oh.
believe. So if we have, I don't know how many creatures we have.
John here dredging for our life from the loam. Milled over the first ring we've seen all game.
Mm-hmm.
And picking up that life from the loam. So we have the engine. We have all the pieces here. We'll probably have to throw a land at Grist. But we can play the seismic, throw, life from the loam, pick them back up, throw.
Yeah, how many iterations can we do? It's not infinite, right?
We can throw the 3, then we can life from the loam and pick up 3 again. So I think we have 6 shocks to throw around.
And you pick it up by cycling a card?
So we just put life from the loam into our hand, and now we cast it for 1 NRG, which is return 3 lands to your hand.
Right.
And now we're resolving the seismic. And Danny has entered hands on head mode because that's the card. And Danny is so disincentivized to start going for it because these Bowmasters. John has so many lands in it. Like, there's so much damage on the table.
All right, so we're going to throw some -1/-1s on the.
Yeah, throw them at the Bowmasters.
The Bowmasters first.
Because we can start here and then start going off.
Mm-hmm. We still draw, so we will get a couple of triggers here.
Yeah. They're quick talking because one of the Bowmasters is dead. How many Make Army counter tokens there are? Just the one from the living Bowmaster. And now, if Danny wants, we can sack an insect or even the second wolf and kill off the other Bowmaster, and then we're free for takeoff.
All right.
So there's the resolution of all of that, down to 15. We're going to throw... We're going to throw this... We're going to throw... Our judge is hovering. We're checking real quick, making sure all this information is correct. Yep, because we went down to 15 from the activation, 14 from a Bowmaster, and now we're going to 13 from this activation here. Clearing up life totals, much appreciated. Love Judge Staff. And now we're going to throw this at the other Bowmaster so we can start clearing this off, and then we might just be trying to go for it with this Seismic Assault on the stack.
Yeah, I believe the Seismic is still on the stack there, so we're just going to start doing stuff before our stuff dies here.
But Danny knows that John's hand is all lands.
Wait, so then...
So if you don't hit it in the couple of times you want to draw, this card's going to resolve and John's going to drop their hand on the table and kill you.
Right, because we have exact... Or no, we have plenty... Because we're just digging for a chord, right? For Blood Artist?
Yeah, we have to hit exactly that because we're in the midst of John's turn. But we have both of the wolves. So we have some pieces put together. We can't... And we have to draw a chord before we draw Blood Artist. If we draw it, we can't chord for it anymore. So...
And we already milled over one chord
We milled a chord, yeah, absolutely. So... this is the Yogg experience.
Yeah.
It's go for it or die.
This is spicy.
I think it's time to start hitting the button. Because if this Seismic Assault resolves, I believe you know... Yep, we'll put a face up. There's 6 damage here. You must kill me. Because this is 6 lands. Each of them are 2. That's 12.
I was about to say there's 6 triggers.
Yeah.
It's 12 damage. It's full lethal.
Prepared to... Oh? Did it resolve? Are we starting to shoot? We're shooting. We're shooting. We're shooting. We're shooting. Oh?
And then we'll respond.
We're pausing. We're shooting. We're yogging. We drew force. Danny made the classic Danny big eyes, but we're just gonna toss them in response. We're doing a dance. Going to 4, doing the dance. Shoot ya.
Oh my god.
Danny's trying to play along, but I don't know if Danny should.
I don't know. I think we're in trouble.
Yeah, I think the seismic resolution might have been the real closer on this game.
Oh man.
And we're trying. There's so few toys to work with.
Where's the cord? Where are you?
And John's sitting at their pile of land saying, "I'd love for these to get you." Danny's moving their cardboard around and toss them. And I think this is full face up, just throwing all of this at face. And that's the handshake. Congrats to John with this John DeLome deck. Just some weird draws out of Danny, but really ripped him apart when they could.
Alrighty, that will be round 3 feature coverage. You see your round 4 competitor there in the background. Emma will be back in just a second to complete our coverage for tonight. Stay tuned while we get them all set up.
We will be right back. Bye-bye.
Welcome back, folks. We're in our final round here, and we got 4 color rhinos and Boros Burn. We usually got a different burn player on the screen at this point in our coverage match, but we got a new one here. Her name is Emma, and she is killing it tonight.
And hopefully you're going to do the same thing to David, lickety split here.
Yeah, we get to go home early tonight. Get to hit up, let's see. I know Culver's closes at 10. I don't think I'm going to...
You're not going to make it.
I don't think I'm going to make that one.
You're not going to make it. But...
Taco Bell it is.
I'll see you there. Emma here looks like they're on the play. Very good for being the burn deck. This game 1 is going to be really, really difficult for David.
I agree.
But remember, post board, David is the one playing Weather the Storm, the Storm life gain card in their sideboard, which might be the real defining feature once we get past this game 1. But right now we have to survive this Monastery Swift Sphere.
Yeah, classic T-Swizzle coming in tapped. She will smack for 1 and get this burn train going.
How much money do you think it costs to get Taylor Swift to sign a Monastery Swift Sphere? It has to be so much money, right?
However much money it is to like go to a meet and greet and get an autograph, yeah.
All right, so I need 4.
She's in Japan right now, so she's not available right now.
We're going to subtlety this Goblin Guy just so that we can not die, right?
Sure, yeah, I dig that play.
David is going to be just clawing, just with whatever pieces of cardboard that they can.
Lava Spike, the subtlety put the Goblin Guy back on top, by the way, so we're going to see that in a moment again.
Right, because that's Emma's pressure, right? The creatures deal the most amount of damage. This Swift Spear has now dealt their 3, so every additional damage, this is better than a bolt. That's kind of the point of the creatures in burn, right? You want to get them out early so that they can deal 2, 4, 6, 8, and become the best burn spell in your deck. The issue is sometimes your pesky opponent puts a blocker out there.
Yeah, the Rhinos deck doesn't have any potential blockers until turn 3, though, so we got some time to get some damage in here. Here comes that Goblin Guide again.
What a mystery. Who knew this was coming?
Emma opting to use her Horizon land to cast it instead of her Sacred Foundry. She'll just take a point of damage down to 15 there.
Revealing that David has this Teferi on top, a card that with no text, basically, unless you're trying to get that late game Rift Bolt, which it could get, but I have a feeling David's going to crack this fetch and say goodbye to that Teferi.
Yeah, we will suspend a Rift Bolt as Emma's other turn on her play.
And David down to 9
Play on
already.
her turn, yikes.
Play on the play.
Turn, play turn.
And David getting the complete domain going here, and I believe we're going to untap, play Shardless, and put our big Rhino blockers out there. The question is Emma has Rift Bolt on suspend and 2 cards in hand. My burn math says that's 9.
One of them's a Boros Charm, too.
Oh, that's 10.
That's a lot of damage. Oh, and a fetch? Sure. Sure.
Thank you, David. Great help there. Find a basic app. Yep. And now we're going to Cascading. Who knows what it could be? But Emma's about to see the rhinoceroses And this may not have been the first time they saw them today.
We have a bunch of Rhinos players nowadays. We used to have Rhino-less metas,
they're
but
they're all here now.
they have crashed into our
Well,
LGS here.
we have a Rhinos player. We have someone who borrowed my deck and didn't want to play Titan. And then we have two of these big Rhino players. And I have confirmed that David did take it from Tepper, and they're working together now.
Oh no, their powers combined. It's
Yeah.
too strong.
They're just like talking card decisions and sideboard choices. So Big Rhino's not going anywhere. As Emma untapping here, playing a land out, which changes the burn math because you know that's one less burn spell as the cards in hand.
Sure, but it is a Horizon land, so we can draw a card there if we ooh, an Eidolon.
The beautiful one.
Oh wait, that's their oh my gosh, that art is so pretty.
Yeah, it is.
Bryce, are you able to get that one specifically?
The store championship version?
I don't think Scryfall lets us choose, at least not on this engine. Yeah.
That's okay. I want you all to know that she's pretty.
Yo.
Yes, first time chatter. Thank you for all
what a good use of your first chat.
It's up to
Eidolon.
Okay, we're gonna say this. This is the
Eidolon. I'll say it. We're appreciating women here, all right? This is a beautiful lady. And she is thick.
And she's gonna make I mean, there's no better term. She's gonna make things miserable for David. All right, this Eidolon is not messing around.
Emma put it down and said, okay.
Good luck.
Play something.
Oh, you attack with your Rhinos? Be careful.
Yeah, I think we just do the Rhinos there, friend.
It looks like second main phase, David has another Shardless with a Pitch Solitude or Pitch Force backup. So we might be able to just push through almost dying to this burn deck.
Trigger. Cast Footfalls trigger. Down to 1.
I got bad news about this Boros Charm, but David has a Force. Do we have another burn spell? We're down to 5. And the question now is,
we also have a Solitude, right?
Right, but
we have an Omnath.
The Omnath is pitched to either of these, but it's time to pick.
Yeah.
Because you either force and no longer have access to the Solitude, because you have to pitch the Omnath.
Does the force count as 0, though?
No, it still maintains its cost.
But it's still 3.
Yeah.
So you still get Eidolon.
Right, so we have to do this Solitude or else we get Eidolon. And we Solitude our own Rhino. And then take the 4 damage. Quote-unquote negating the Boros Charm as well gain 4, lose 4. Yeah, chat's much smarter than me. I lose to burn all the time. We're playing out our Sacred Foundry. Taking a quick think and throwing it all back.
And then I think we're dead. These Rhinos have trample.
They are huge.
They're big and beefy. That is...
Yep. I was asked earlier what the Rhinos plan against burn, and the plan is get them dead.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay.
Woo-wee. Just in the nick of time, the skin of their teeth. David's big Rhinos, access to Solitude, access to Force. Just put the Rhinos in play and did the plan.
Yeah, David's shaking his head there. That was a scary one. You definitely don't see Rhinos winning that game 1 too often. So very fortunate to get out of that one. Some good head on his shoulders, good gameplay. Let's take a look at a classic Boros Cyburn, though. No case of the Crimson Pulse here.
No. And I think we're pulling
burn spells.
Stock 75.
Yeah. Emma hasn't submitted, so this is just off Goldfish. As an example sideboard, we've got Sanctifier and Vec. What is that?
Oh, the Tunnel Ignis?
Tunnel Ignis? Okay. Path to Exile, Exquisite Firecraft, and Roiling Vortex.
Tunnel Ignis, if whenever a land enters battle under an opponent's control, if that player had another land enter this turn, they take 3. AKA your fetches hurt a lot.
Oh, interesting. I was thinking of it like anti-Omnath tech too.
Or anti-Amulet tech.
Or
not quite for here, but
sure.
definitely when Amulet player could die really quickly.
Yeah. And just good for fetches. All right. So that is the burn matchup. We are bringing in these Roiling Vortexes, I assume.
Yeah, because
seems pretty good.
We at least saw a free spell being cast, and the understanding that this could do a lot of damage, it might help fire back against the fact that we know that David's going to be trying to weather the storm. And the Vortex may deal a lot of damage, but David's going to try to gain just a little bit more.
Do the copies also cost or have mana value 2 when you cast them, or do they count as 0 cost? Because this says
You put a copy onto the stack.
Oh, but he didn't spend mana. That's
Right.
what Rolling Vortex checks for.
Right. It checks for if you cast a spell, and Storm puts copies on the stack but doesn't cast them.
Oh.
So the Roiling Vortex will ding us for cascading into something, right? Because
Mhm.
we're not going to cast mana, but won't ding us for the Storm copies. So if I Shardless to Weather the Storm, it's going to say I gain 6, but Vortex is going to deal me 5. So I will net gain 1 life on that exchange overall.
All right, interesting. Let's take a look at David's deck list as well. This is his full 76
Whoop, whoop.
submitted on our Discord. If you're looking for any of our deck list, join us there. Let's take a look at this sideboard. Once again, we have Endurance, Teferi Time Raveler, Weather the Storm, which is definitely coming in, Mystical Dispute, Wear Tear, Force of Vigor, Supreme Verdict, and Cursed Totem.
I'm cutting 2 Teferi Time Ravelers, and I'm bringing in these 2 Weather the Storms, and I'm crossing my fingers.
Right, Emma will be on the play here. We got some Goblin Guides guiding us to victory and some lands, maybe.
Yeah, and as chatters are pointing out, if the Roiling Vortex has been in play for a while, when David tries to go for that, we have that final part that can negate just all of the life gain. Say, good luck on that part.
Yeah, no life gain there. Very annoying part. Adam likes to play that against me a lot in Pioneer. It's very frustrating.
Yeah.
It's not cool.
Right, and then as Casey's pointing out in chat, David can just put a Leyline Binding, pay 1 mana, answer the card that's creating the problem. You know, that's a part of the whole reason this dip into white allows David access to these bindings, to this Omnath, to Teferi, to Solitude, right? Like, just tons of cards that can really define this matchup if we can get enough time to cast them.
If we get enough time is right. David's already at 11 points of life with just a single land in play.
As we saw at the new Art of Goblin guide, very excited for it. These guides are leading you straight off a cliff.
Yes, I really want that Goblin Guide, the Seasoned Pyromancer.
The Wild
cool.
Witch, yeah.
And then, of course, the only one I'm actually going to play, because I play Hammer, is the Springleaf Drum. Classic.
As Emma, right,
had to discard down to hands? What happened there?
David is not looking to crack these fetches.
Yeah.
We got a Temple Garden for free and an Omnath.
Omnath off the top. Sarah knows about the Solitude in his hand.
Yeah, if David cracks both these fetches, you know, that's almost a free burn spell on top of just the amount that these guides are doing. And we're pitching Omnath to get this Solitude.
Mm-hmm. Of course, you want to do these after attack triggers so that you do get those lands off the top potentially.
Plays like this are the ones that make me wish that I was playing a 4-color with Ephemerate. But obviously you can't when you're trying to do this Cascade stuff. Because the Solitude your thing, Ephemerated, have a Solitude as a blocker, can really change a lot of this math. But we're playing the big Rhinos, big 4-color.
Oh, down to 4 here. Skewer the Tritic, Spectacle Cost, and a Lava Spike.
Pew, 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 pew.
Still in the stack, though, this Lava Spike. David staring at a Force Negation in his hand.
Right. The thing is David, you got to get mana in play at some point.
Eventually, yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Keep touching them. They're still there.
They'll deal you 1 eventually.
Yep.
Yep. It's not going to feel good. I can tell you that much.
I know. You see. It's understandably very hard to want to crack these fetches right now.
Yep, looks like we're pitching another Omnath to force Lava Spike. Force Investigation has targeted Lava Spike.
Okay, now what do we do?
All right, so we maintain.
We're not going to crack them.
Not cracking these.
We'll play the Temple Garden.
Just kidding.
We'll play a Plains.
Play the Plains.
Okay.
Yeah,
these
Misties linger on the game.
Boy. Go to combat here.
Shardless?
Ooh.
You gotta crack your fetches at some point to cast that. David doesn't want the Shardless.
No, he wants the ley line. That's why he played the Plains out. We'll get 2 Triomes, so that way they don't hurt us.
Yeah.
And we will ley line binding this Goblin Guide.
Boop. Do you have spells in hand?
We have an Eidolon.
The Eidolon.
Here she is in all her glory.
Welcome back. This should be very difficult for David. Just used our binding, one of the few cards that doesn't trigger this Eidolon.
And now
we have Omnath in hand, but we're gonna have to
shock ourselves to play.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
man.
David. And like you could just play this land tapped so it's untapped next turn. But I don't know if we get a whole turn cycle available to us either
I
way.
don't think we got that much time. Her thighness.
Yeah, we can play this out, and we can get the Omnath, and the Omnath won't trigger the Herthitis, but it will take 2 from playing the shock.
I think I need to change my like Twitter banner or something.
That's a good Twitter banner. That's a good Twitter banner.
It's right now. It's the Paddington Poison Dart Frog.
Oh, that's pretty good too.
Yeah.
Yep. David here. You can see in some ways to play this land out tapped just to try to stem the bleeding. Coming in for a hit. We played some. We can't play this virus if we're doing this play pattern.
Play that
because we might as well have shocked and made a big 4/4 blocker if this was our plan. We're gonna take 2 off this. Go down to 3. You looking very boltable now. You're looking very Boros Charmable. Yes. And just scoop all these up. This 4-color deck needs to be on the play just to start getting its mana online before it gets its booty kicked.
Absolutely, yeah. Double guide.
Double guide is a lot. Double guide is a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Especially against specifically this, where David is playing a deck with the Cascade package, is you don't have things just put in the way. So the early creatures kind of get 1 to 2 turns just unimpeded, just attacking at your life total, allowing them to be those like super bolts that they want to be.
Absolutely. We'll see players shuffling up here. Let's take a look at our leaderboard potentially.
Ooh, can we take a peek?
And I'm going to take a look at Event Link and see where people are stacking up at here.
Yeah, we don't have the updated leaderboard, so we don't want to pose any...
we just have week 3?
Yeah, we got last week, so we can't do that to the people.
That's
we want to make sure they're fully
well,
updated.
If you want the fully updated posted leaderboard through week 5, join our Discord to be able to check that out.
Oh, Snap keeps off these 2. We're game.
We're going.
We're game
gaming.
3.
We're Magic the Gathering.
Oh yeah, Sacred Foundry coming on in. Who is it this time? T Swift in the house.
Here we go.
Get you 19. Go. Play your Shocklands. Do it. And now, Steam Vents, suspend, throw it back. And now we've got Emma making our second land drop for turn, playing out Spike, Trigger Swift Spear.
Prowess, smack in for another 2, down to 14 here on David's side. And a Skewer, Spectacle.
Yeah, so 11. Many Getchas.
Nice.
We just missed a Prowess trigger there if we would have skewered in main phase with our Lava Spike before attacking in there. But we're going to see just how much it matters. I feel a gain 6 coming. We were talking about this, and I think David might have been under the feeling of not cutting all the rhinos or bringing in some good hits. I feel like we're looking like we're in a rhino-less situation. But nope, there they are, right? So now we're getting the 4/4s. This is good. This is a part of the plan. I really would have loved to gain 6 there.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe they're also in there? Do you take out all the rhinos? Because you only have 2. Well, you don't take out the rhinos, right? You said cut the Teferis, right?
Yeah,
so
there's definitely some here. So we're instead, we've got these rhinos. We have our ability to start applying pressure. But Emma is no longer on the creature plan, and the real question is how much damage can the cards in hand deal?
Exactly. Yeah, we don't see any Horizon lands this time, so no draw there. Some good draws off the top. We still have 4 cards in hand. If those are all burn spells, David is
right.
Dead.
Start doing your burn math.
Oh,
the Roiling Vortex.
Turn too late. That's rough. A Boros Charm. I think Lava Spike. Oh, what is that?
Oh,
it's a Rift Bolt.
We're gonna get ourselves with our own.
Oh no!
Vortex.
Oh gosh!
Yeah, we might have to take 5 off our own Rift Bolt next turn. But the question is will it matter if we can just start punching away at what's left of David's life total? David needs 2 turns. Emma has the combination of the 1 more from a Vortex and 3 from this Rift Bolt. So there's 4 damage there. We need to get exactly 6 damage out of what's left in Emma's hand, which should be the burn plan.
And this is a relevant thing. Well, maybe not relevant, but interesting thing that they did change with Suspend is that when it comes off of Suspend, you don't have to cast it anymore.
Right, but I think we're gonna want to because this is the only clock that
I
we
know.
have.
I think she's going to opt to. She could.
No, get this ring out of here.
I think she no longer wants to.
Yeah. Yeah, now I'm not doing it.
They just announced the change with Karlov updates. Yeah. Thank you, Chatter.
Yep. And all the big rounds, yeah, because of like a single card in the commander deck, they're like, yeah, we'll change that rule now.
Mm-hmm.
So, you got what you gotta do. Yep. There we see firing it off.
Yeah,
Playing
I
it
think
in Snaring Bridge. Okay. 2 cards in hand.
Ooh, that's good. Take a damage off the vortex down to 8.
Okay. This bridge was very, very well timed
This bridge is huge, actually. I think we might. Oh, goodness. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
I think we might actually.
Because this Shardless can attack, but then on David's turn, David goes down to 7. So Emma needs to get 7 points of damage together over this turn cycle.
Oh, the Shardless can still get
Yeah, the
through.
Shardless can come through.
Too.
But that's fine.
That's fine.
Oh, David has Fire Ice in hand, so we have 2 more damage available to us there.
Oh my god! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
But I don't think it's a look at me, I'm the burn deck now yet.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah, David. The thing is David looks like we have this Solitude, but we have to crack this Flooded Strand to get any access to it. All right.
Really tanking on the fetches.
This is good. This is good right
This
here.
is good magic.
This is good.
I'm loving this. Oh,
Right.
what are you drawing?
Yeah, Emma down to 3. Wow, which means David does have a lethal Fire Ice. It could make Emma die to their own Roiling Vortex.
Oh my gosh.
So Emma has to do it here. Has to apply the pressure. We're sending it back.
No. Oh my gosh. I think she's dead.
We're gonna die to our own Vortex.
Oh
no. Send it in.
Block. Yeah.
Great block. Great block.
Great block.
And now send it back.
Yeah, I think she
David's
drew
gonna...
the Vantage.
Oh. Laurel Charmia.
Oh, we could have blocked with the T-Switch and the. We could have triggered Prowess, I think.
Oh yeah, we could have triggered and survived. Could trigger and
survive the.
Yep. Untap. Take 1 to your Vortex. Take 2 from this. Look at me.
In response, does she have the burn spell? He's at 3.
Bop.
Yo, she's got.
Pew. Wait. All right. Now, David, if we have the white card, can self-solitude, but then we would take 5 off the Vortex.
Oh my god.
Oh
my god.
Oh. How about the one that's in hand? They did a quick dance of, hey, this is upkeep, so you wouldn't have drawn that card yet. Emma goes, it was also here.
Oh my god. He's gonna draw with the ring?
Oh yeah, because David needs a white card to self-solitude, but you take 5 from the Vortex and
Wow! Oh,
well played.
Goodness.
Unbelievable. Much love.
What an end to that game. Absolutely incredible stuff from both our players.
This is Burn's house now. Welcome,
Sheesh.
everyone.
This has always been a Burn house, man.
I'm just saying it's not just Adam anymore.
Adam and Emma, King and Queen,
Yeah.
Burn, taking it down week after week. I think we got to call Mengu. I think we got to get Burn bumped up on that tier list.
Oh, we'll see.
He'll be at the series event in just a couple of weeks. I can deliver him the.
Oh, check out the results.
Critique.
All right.
Hello, sir. I need you to tune into one of our streams and just check out how Burn does every single week.
I know you're asleep while we're streaming, but you need to check this out.
Yeah, Italy's a little bit far from here. The time zone's a little bit different there. Oh my goodness. Okay. Wow.
Okay.
That was all the magic we had for tonight, folks, and what a bunch of magic it was. Those were absolute joys to commentate for. Very exciting way to end our night as well. Just want to say thank you to everyone in chat for joining us. We appreciate you all, and if you enjoy the content tonight, be sure to hit that follow button, and if you're feeling generous, hit that subscribe button. If you have Amazon Prime, you might have a free Twitch Prime that you could drop us. Give us your Bezos bucks. If you're feeling generous, we'd really appreciate it. Before we head out tonight, though, we are going to run through a quick couple of ads, so if you feel like supporting us, just mute us and put us in a second tab, all right? So we're going to do these real quick. If you're interested in playing some games at our store, we support 5 different TCGs at our store, and you can play any single one of them or use our tables for free play. These are sanctioned events, though. On Wednesday, we have Modern. Thursday is Commander and Pokémon. If you like Pokemon, check out our stream tomorrow night. Friday is F&M Legacy and Standard. and One Piece as well. Saturday is our Digimon League. Monday is also Digimon and Commander. Tuesday wraps up our schedule with Pioneer being replaced by Lorcana and our One Piece League. If you want to buy any of the cards that you saw tonight, head on over to nerdragegaming.com. We ship countrywide. You can pick up in-store or have them scheduled to be ready for you at a series event as well. We're adding more cards every day. So if you don't see one that we have in stock, add it to your wish list and get notified immediately through an email whenever we list that, because we're listing more cards every day. We've done a ton of work bumping up our standard inventory because standard's back, baby. It's RCQ season, and if you want to play and qualify for RC Dallas, head on over to our store on March 2nd. We will have our standard RCQ. Look at those beautiful promo cards. They can be yours. And an invite to RC Dallas could be yours as well. And if you want to play some competitive Magic a little closer to home, head on over to Elmhurst in the Chicagoland area, February 17th and 18th, the week before the Pro Tour, the same formats as the Pro Tour, and a double showdown weekend. Spike either event and automatically qualify for our championship event, $35,000, and an invite to the Pro Tour could be yours, starting at NRG Chicago. We'd love to see you there. I'm going to be there. Lots of big names are going to be there. Like I said, Andrea Mengucci himself just said that he's going to be there. So if you'd like to meet him, head over to our event. With that being said, though, that will wrap up our feature coverage for tonight. It's been a pleasure. Dom, thank you as always.
Thank you for having me.
Have a good night, folks.
Toodles.